Okay. Testing the mic now. Okay, there we go. All right. Then everyone, thanks for the patience. Again, I'm still learning this whole multi-streaming thing. It does use a lot of CPU, so I'm just trying to make sure I get this all right. I'm checking my stream now. I can hear it. So, awesome. Okay. So we'll go ahead and move forward here. So as you can see, I have this photo up. It's a photo of. So just to kind of give you an idea of why we picked this topic. I had posted it because I felt like it was, there was some genuine truth to it. To which I was met with some concern and even disagreement. Healthy disagreement, but nonetheless, it was very interesting to see the stance on that. So here, meet the person responsible for your, and here the child is met with 5 mirrors, each labeled choices, grades, success, words, actions. This kind of being, like a deep understanding that person responsible for choices, you're seeing yourself, it's you basically. So you look in the mirror for your actions, you're responsible for your words, you're responsible for your success, responsible for grades, you're responsible for choices, you're responsible. Okay, testing. Okay. I hear the sound on my laptop. I hear the sound cutting out. That continues. I'm gonna go ahead and just stream off Twitch. I think that might be the problem. But let me go ahead and turn my webcam back on. All right. So identifying. Okay, so back to where I was. There were like 6 to 8 steps with the decision making. I narrowed it down to 4: identifying, assessing, implementing, and evaluating. All right, so let's just start with the basics when it comes to decision making. You have identify what decisions need to be made, what options you have. That's just pretty kind of common, straightforward. But I want to start off by saying, when it comes to making decisions, you can be right, you can be wrong. The one thing you have to understand is that no matter the case, always try to be as confident as you can in learning from the experience. I've struggled with this quite often myself, and I know I'm not alone here. When it comes to making decisions or doing things properly, you want to make sure you try to be as right as possible, or making the best decisions for your life, or you're trying to give the best advice, decisive advice for someone to put them on the right path. Regardless, their mistakes are going to be made, and you got to be prepared to make a mistake, but be confident that you're giving the right answer. Because if not, I mean, worst comes to worst, things got to be changed, and that's just kind of how life goes. But I wouldn't let it set you back. Changes happen. Changes can be a good thing, and it's okay. With this topic, I'm here to just kind of, try to go over this picture here, but also kind of put some ease in anyone's heart that's having any trouble with making decisions. It could be major, it could be minor, but whatever the case is, we're all here for you. I've made many mistakes myself, big and small. I've helped people through mistakes, and people have helped me through mine. It's just a common thing that we experience as human beings, but one thing we can do is make sure that we're there for each other at all times. And that's what I'm here for now. So let's go ahead and start with identifying decisions. So I'm going to give an example here. Okay, yeah, so starting off small, identifying decisions. So yeah, let's say you're choosing somewhere to eat with a friend or your partner. You kind of have to assess the options that you have. So, hey, we're getting hungry. Let's go out to eat. Where do you want to go out to eat tonight? And the most common response from a partner would be, oh, I don't know, you pick. A lot of us have gone through it. Mainly from women. I will give the similar response, but it for me, no matter where I go, I can find something to pick. I'm not picky because I know someone else probably would want to choose above me. So everywhere I go, it's easy. So I'll be like, it don't matter to me. I'm not picky. I'll say that. But oftentimes we'll get those people who go, oh, I don't know. You pick. I don't know. What's there to eat? Knowing there's like 10 locations within the next 10-15 minutes of a drive. But so when you get to that point, you're forced to weigh your options. You have to identify what to decide. Another thing is, I guess in that sense, how far do you want to drive? Do you want to drive at all? Do you want to go fast food? Do you want to cook? Do you need to go to the store, pick anything up? Another thing to think is financial. How are you on money? I know I've been there where you want something to eat, you ain't got anything to cook, and like McDonald's is up the street, Wendy's is up the street, Taco Bell's up the street. Well, how much money do I have to spend? Back in the day when a McChicken was $1.06, it was easy, right? That's minor decision making and identifying it. And assessing, obviously, you make a choice. so, uh, assessing would be like, okay, so what are you feeling? Oh, Wendy's is good. Wendy's is good. I never cared for the Frosty. I won't. Even when they get the little, why they were giving out those little free things so much where you can get one daily? Because they know the Frosties they're nothing. And it's always like the chocolate frosting was just like a chocolate flavored icy. There was just so much ice, not enough cream. Oh, anyway, assessing, choosing, right? So, hey, what are you in the mood for? I don't know. So, okay, you got to make someone pick, right? Okay, so let's list some options here. We got chicken, got fries, got Mexican, burgers, Asian. What you want? And they'll go, oh, chicken. All right, boom. Narrowed everything down. So you got Wendy's, you got McDonald's, you got Burger King, Popeyes, Churches, KFC. You want it greasy or do you want it quick? You want it fried? What you want? I want some nuggets. Boom. Assessing. Now you're down to McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. Birthday boy likes Wendy's. Their nuggets are good as of what, 7 years ago? Me personally, I think I would have just chosen McDonald's. Wendy's are pretty good. I like the spicy. But then, okay, getting off track here. Implementing, make a move. Go get your nuggets. Make a move. Go and get that chicken. I'm not saying chicken because I'm black. I mean, everybody likes chicken, but All right, and then of course, evaluate. Is this the right time to evaluate after you've made the purchase? Because that's what we tend to do. College kids, people, just off on their own for the first time. You make your purchase of the nuggets and fries, and if you're kind of struggling for money, you go, dang, that's another $3.58 out of my pocket. I got another 72 left. I don't get paid until next Friday. It's Monday. There's your evaluation. A little late, but there it goes. You don't need to see my face. All right, so I was also looking into, there are different types of decision making. A lot of a lot of times, for one, it's instinctual, gut feeling. I will always say this: whenever you get that tingling in your stomach that shoots up to your brain telling you to do something, that it's a good idea, not the back of your brain telling you a bad idea is a good idea, but that gut feeling, the one you feel in right in your stomach, it just kind of tickles you a little bit, and you kind of question it, like, am I supposed to do this? Is this the right thing to do? You second guess it. I will always say this: trust your gut, trust your instincts. You may get goosebumps on your hair when on your on your arms, whatever the case may be. Well, go ahead and put this back on. Yeah, trust your instincts. It's definitely, I highly recommend it. It has helped me a lot. And even if you're the type of person to second guess the decision of what your gut is saying, kind of weigh things out. Go through the whole decision making with whatever it is that the message that you're getting. I I, I can't stress enough, trust your gut. And when it comes to trusting your gut, you'll know if something's right or wrong. I think we're all able to understand what's right or wrong. So um, I guess just kind of take it from there. But me, like, what? So I guess for me, whenever I get a gut feeling, whenever I get instinctual feeling to really take the leap or to do the thing that I'm being driven to do, um, for me, it's just kind of like I take up signs. So when I was younger, I used to get like the actual gut feeling, or something would just be like fluttering in my gut, and then like it'll shoot right up to the neural system to the brain, and I'm like, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. 8 times out of 10, when I would do it, it was right. The reason why I say out of 10 is because I would do what I was given the signal to do, but I would kind of like spin it. So I wouldn't necessarily manifest anything because I try to flip it and make it my own way. If you're given like a directive, excuse me, if you're given a directive on how to do this properly, or and how to trust your instinct, like listen to it all the way. If you try to make things happen on your own, if you try to control things outside of what it is that you were given, you may tend to kind of, make things shaky. So yeah, definitely trust it all the way. Believe in yourself, believe in your gut, and it can lead you to success, whatever you aspire to gain in life. Um, Another reason for decisive action would be just having a list of choices or options, as we stated earlier in the example. Picking something to eat, again, it could be minor, it could be major. You could be someone making executive decisions in a chair. That's also a way to make some decisions. Another one that we had stated earlier, also financial. You know, whether if it's, can I buy this or that? Can I save this or that? That's another reason for making some decision making. Uh, Also, life changes. Obviously, this is a big one because let's say you're shooting for success and you're on the path of, oh, I don't know what to do, where to go, but you have options. Well, if one, let's say it's school related, like you're going into college, but you don't know who to pick, what to do. You'll have to kind to list which one will benefit you most. Kind of, pros and cons. Um, One, if you're not getting anything from your instinct to make a choice, then you have to kind of go manual here and weigh out your options. What does one school provide that the other one doesn't, vice versa. Also with jobs, or even moving for a job or for school, or just moving in general, a lot of times when people like to pick up and go, so spontaneous in that niche, is because they just had a gut feeling. They took that leap, they went for it. A lot of people didn't look back. Some people decided to move to California and came back home. That one wasn't instinct. You forced it because you thought California was going to be where it was at. I can't say too much because I went to Texas thinking the same thing, and honey, I'm home. um, Another form of decisive action is right or wrong. The angel, Neville on the shoulder, however you want to look at it, morality, so to speak. We all tend to know at a certain age what pretty much is right, what pretty much is wrong. Even if you were raised a certain way, you kind of understand what's right and wrong. Now, I do know when, like, let's say an easy one, racism. That stuff was taught. You don't, you're not born racist. You're not born saying, "Oh, I hate this and that." You know, you're taught that. You're also taught the emotion behind it. And as sad as it is, that's what happened. It's still going on to this day, but you know, not as much, which is a really good thing. But we tend to know what's right and wrong. For me, I personally knew what was right and wrong, but I had this mode within me to say F it. The F word is to your imagination. I would say F it. And if I said F it, take me home or get out of my way, because I'm on a path to destruction. Be at my side or not at all. And that's when I was my most chaotic. I did not like doing that, and I'm appreciative that I'm not that person now. But it happened, and I was lucky enough to recognize it and understand where I needed to change to be a better person each day moving forward. But yeah, knowing right and wrong is absolutely one decisive action, one of the many top ones that are key. And then there's, of course, life and death. That could be. This was actually one that kind of like a life risk kind of ordeal. This is kind of the disagreement where Sean had that he'll probably elaborate on a little later. But yeah, so life and death, that could be either your life is in danger, someone's life is in danger, or maybe there's death on the line. Maybe like there's someone that's actually dying, and do you pull the plug, or do you finish a job, or do you make the assumption that death is the only result in whatever situation that you're in? That's what I mean by death. So I'll speak on it like this. Looking at this picture here, meet the person responsible for your choices. I fully agree. So no matter what it is that you're doing, right or wrong, you tend to understand, you should be able to understand, your choices are exactly what you decided to do. That's 100% you. Because if you decided to let someone else make a move and something went wrong or right, you are still responsible for making that decision. You made that call. Because if it takes your word, if there's no, if you don't, let's, I guess if you don't, if you're not incapacitated and you have a power of attorney for some reason where you can't speak, then that's completely understandable. And I'm sure there's other situations where that will fit in the category of maybe you can't speak for yourself. I'll try to think of some, but right now I'm really just touching on the simple fact, like, as you as an individual, you will make choices. If you make those choices, you are to be held responsible for the result and or consequence of that action. And that's okay, because if you made a mistake, if you messed something up, it's okay, as long as you're willing to understand that not only was it a mistake, but you can fix it. That's perfectly fine. Keep moving forward. And if it's something where you're forced not to be able to fix it, well, the best thing to do is just learn from it and then take it with you. But yes, with as far as choices go, you being responsible, I 100% agree. I really do. Gotta get my hydrate on. Y'all can't see me because something, but gotta get my hydrate on. All right. So let's see here. Next is grades. We'll go ahead and drop that because, I mean, you're not getting graded in life. Let's see. Camera's still laggy. We'll go ahead and turn that off. All right. Success. That is 100% all you. Well, hold on. I think. All right. So now I'm thinking about it like more. I don't know why. Looking at the word in the mirror, I'm just kind of like, that one's iffy. Because that one, thinking of the different ways of success, that one's, I guess it all starts with, did you take the necessary correct step to throttle yourself into success, then yes, that is 100% your responsibility. Um, I think when it comes to the consequence of success, I would assume it's just whatever cons there are. Like for instance, easy one for celebrities. What's a consequence of success? You don't get a private life. You'll go out trying to enjoy some shopping, maybe a light bite with a friend or family, and then you'll always have someone running up wanting your picture, wanting your autograph, asking you some questions that you find stupid. um, and that's on a daily basis until you become irrelevant, and either you enjoy it or you do what some other people do and you pay for paparazzi, or you try to seek it and be like, oh hey, I'll be here, and expect people to show up. um let's see, what's another one that'll be a con for success other than being a celebrity. um let's see, being a doctor, or like a nurse. Maybe you've got a family, or you want a family, but when you're like a busy doctor or a busy nurse where you're working 12 to 16 hours, even more than that, a day, or maybe you've gone 2 days without sleep and you've been stuck at work, that can be hard, because now what you're trying to do, possibly, you're trying to balance a personal life with work life, but you can't get out of work because work needs you. It is an essential because it's life or death. Or you can try to be home and enjoy yourself or relax. And I think that's a very sacrificial consequence, nonetheless, when it comes to that kind of success. But I think just out of the genuinity of what success is, you don't just get successful by sitting there. You had to put in action to make something happen. So for me, I wouldn't be doing anything like this if I didn't set up the platform, set up the accounts, put myself out there, making posts on a daily. I know Sean still wanted me to make a wee live post, getting to it. All that stuff, like I had to put in the effort to find success. Now, where it comes into play that it's not just me that made the success, well, it's you guys, the viewers, the interactors, the people who found me worth a view, worth a shot, worth a listen. And I'm grateful for the many of you that I have, and more many to come. But yeah, definitely wouldn't have success without you guys. So pulling up the socials here. Let's see. Okay, so then moving forward, words. Yes, 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 yes. 1,000% you. You are 1,000% for what you say. And we've all been there. You say something and you're like, why did I say that? Whoops. And you don't expect it to go anywhere. Then someone's like, yo, heard you had this to say. Oh, now you're forced to make the decision: tell the truth or lie. And then from there, it just kind of branches. If you tell the truth, well, that's it. And you deal with the consequences of the result of whatever happens, whatever transpires. If you lie, well, that just opens up so much. Think of it like a tree, Let's just think lie. Okay, so do you lie, blame someone else, or do you lie and say that you didn't mean it, however it is that you want to lie? And that just continues to break down, because then it's just like so much to say, so much to think about. That's a tree of destruction there. But yes, when it comes to your words, you are 1,000% responsible. And here's the thing: own up to it. If you said something that shouldn't have been said and you're approached, own up to it. It may be tough because it's kind of, you may not be used to it. It may be a scary situation, or maybe you're the type of person who gets off on confrontation, so you do that stuff on purpose. But I mean, I highly suggest owning up to it. Just say, hey, I said it, this is how I felt. The best way I see in a confrontation, if someone was to ever address you about what you said, You know, I think try to dismiss the fact if it was right or wrong unless you can actually state some fact. You're gonna I would also not care about upsetting the other party. Look, if there was a factual detail that you had spoken about and someone else is upset about it, well, let them be upset. Tell the truth, 100%. And if they got a problem with it, let them address you. But always make sure you stay out of harm's way the best way you can, you know? But if you're out there spreading rumors, then, you know, you got to take that one. Um, you know, or like it's even if it's not rumors, like you spread false information. Maybe you didn't know what you were talking about, you didn't have all the details, whatever the case may have been. Hey, I was wrong. How can you correct me? Can you tell me what the right answer is? So many ways that someone can respond to that. You know, some people will get upset. Some people will try to tell you off. Some people are just understanding. They're okay. Well, hey, this is the right answer. Um, I would just try to see what the right answer is, and that's a learning step. It is a learning step in the right direction, moving forward. I don't know what the hell I was doing there. Um, I don't see any way outside of technology where someone could twist your words and get you in trouble. In any way, shape, or form. Same with, I mean, when it comes to good news, somebody will be more eager to be like word of mouth. Like, oh, hey, this person, for instance, like Miss Kieu at Nails by Kieu. If someone was to want to believe that she was as good as she is, she's phenomenal as you've seen her work, part of it would be word of mouth. And as the pictures that I've shown, as customers that she had that have given her 5 stars, that's part of her client. That's part of her clientele. That's part of the spread of her work is word of mouth. So if someone is spreading the truth, someone is spreading satisfaction. Hey, this person did really good on my hands and feet. You should go ahead and check her out. All right, I'll check them out. Now, your experience from what you learned could be different for many reasons, but that doesn't dismiss the fact that that person does a really good job. Maybe it was a bad day. Maybe the style in which things happen aren't your thing. So this person isn't exactly lying. It's just that your experience wasn't as advertised. And that's just one. Try it again. If it wasn't to your liking, maybe that's just not your thing. Maybe that person's not your thing. And it's okay. You go on to find a new one. It's not a waste because that's what life is all about, is experience. I mean, hell, we're all throwing our money at something, expecting it to work. So when we find out that it's not working, we're like, why isn't this working? It needs to work. I put my money into it. Well, it's not always the case. It's not always the experience. I speak this because, one, I've worked at restaurants, bars, and also IT. So I am fully aware of what it looks like when people are unsatisfied with their experience. But when you try to turn that into it being about you, oh, I need a full refund. Oh, I paid good money, so it should work. I pay enough money for this to never happen. You don't. A billionaire will pay for internet, and he'll still lose internet because of equipment failure, cable failure, anything like that. No one has enough money for them to have a perfect life. So again, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have mistakes made with you, by you, for you. It doesn't matter. But yeah, spreading word of mouth, as long as you know that the general consensus is satisfied, then it's satisfactory. Let's see, any other for words, any other for speaking, nothing I can think of. Let's see. So then, actions. I will say 100% yes. Only you will make you do what you want to do. Now, if you're mind controlled or if you're restrained and you're forced to do something, well, that's out of your hands. You're overpowered. That's different. What I'm talking about is having that little voice in the back of your head tell you to do something or to forget logic. Like the old saying, jump. If you had a friend and they asked you to jump off the bridge, would you do it? Well, would you? If your friend said, "Oh, nothing will happen to you. I do it a lot." You go to look and see that jump is outside of your comfort zone. And then your gut tells you to back the hell up. Listen to your gut. If you're not going to listen to your gut, we'll start weighing out the options. Well, actually, no. You identify. How does he land, my friend? How does he jump? How long does it take for him to touch the ground? Stuff like that. But yeah, above all else, I find you to be the sole responsible individual for just about everything that you do or you can make happen. I also took the liberty of seeing some quotes that really piqued my interest. Just some authors, journalists, and famous people alike that you may be aware of. Let me pull it up here. One was by Sigmund Freud. When making a decision of minor importance, I always found it advantageous to consider all the pros and cons. I like that. One that kind of piqued my interest a little bit was by Napoleon Bonaparte. Nothing is more difficult and therefore more precious than to be able to decide. I think being having the option to choose anything is one of our greatest freedoms. Freedom of choice. Let's see. Oh, one by Phil McGraw. Sometimes you make the right decision. Sometimes you make the decision right. That one kind of got me. Let's talk about that one. Because now that I read it again, I'm kind of mind twisted. Sometimes you make the right decision. Sometimes you make the decision right. So the way I see this, it kind of conflicts with using your gut. Because what you're doing is altering a choice to make it the best fit for you, and I can see why that would be the case. I really do. This that we are. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to do that. Let's try to think of one where that would be a really like beneficial. Altering an option to make it your best option. Let's see. So I guess one that comes to mind for some reason, beyond me. Let's say you gotta move for work. But okay, so let's say you gotta move for work, and it's a big move, and it's gonna be permanent, right? Because this new job you got, the one that you've been chasing for quite some time, you gotta move. And making the decision right, huh? How do I put this? Make the decision right. Oh, okay. So let's say your transportation is a little lackluster. You're having some car troubles, and you know you're kind of down on the money to get a plane or a bus ticket. Well, what do you do? I think one who can make the decision right would sell the car to a scrapyard, get what you can, salvage up the rest of the money to get either a plane or a bus ticket. You make your way to your new city, your new job, and with this new job making more, take the time and the patience to save up that money to get a new car. Unless you're in like New York and you probably just taxi all over the place, but I feel like that was a good example. But definitely one that I was just like, huh. It was it did allow me to kind of sit with that one, so I really liked it. I really did. One by Maya Angelou. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. That one was very important to read, and I wanted to make sure I shared that with you guys. Because oftentimes we hate making mistakes because of how it's going to be depicted of us, how people will see us because of that mistake. You know, like if you are a rambunctious teenager or someone in their early to all their 20s, just known for being not the best party animal, but you partied, but you weren't the best to be around for reasons. But you decided to make a change in your life around in your 30s. You got a better job, you're around better people, you're sober now. So being it not being able to control what happened to you because you or by you, but you can change how you're seen, how you're perceived. So you're taking back control of your image. So let's say, Mr. Party Animal, I haven't seen you in about a few years. How's it been? Still partying? And then you'll go, no, I'm actually sober now. I've got a really great job and I've just been staying focused on life and then doing better and staying out of trouble. And then this person that saw you, wow, okay, that's awesome, man. That's really, I'm proud. I'm glad to see that you're doing all right. Stay in touch. And you feel good about that because you kind of understand, hey, you can't hold that against me. Now, it doesn't always work. Some people will hold it against you, and that's okay. If you did something in the past, some people just can't let go for reasons of their own. You don't spend too much time or energy on those people. For whatever reason, they can't let go of what you did, what you said, how you did it, blah, blah, blah. If you're 30 and then you run into someone from high school saying, oh, you stole my girl, you stole my man, get over it. I don't trust you because you did it. I'm a better person. Nah. Well, yeah, they can keep holding it. Oh, I don't trust you because you made the mistake. You did me wrong. I will always see you wrong in the eyes of me. Well, hey, I wish you great healing and nothing but the best in your future. You take care. Now, whatever response they have coming after that, don't even listen. Just walk away. Because, like I said, there's some people out there who just won't let go. They got to hold on to your problems because their problems are, they can't handle their own problems. So they got to hold on to your problems. They got to make you the problem now. Oh, you was a problem back in the day. You ruined my life. Correction. That was when we were 17. You're 32 now. I think it's time for you. You're overdue of growing up. Growing past it. Heal how you need to, but understand I did not ruin your life. Your reaction to that situation ruined your life. And also, being taken away from is a two thing. I didn't kidnap your partner. I didn't abduct your partner. I didn't try to manipulate your partner. That partner clearly wanted me. So it was a two-person, actually it was a three-person thing. Because whatever was happening in your relationship that made this person want me on top of you, or above you, well, I don't know. That's something y'all need to work out, but it's not my fault or my problem. And that's the mindset that you gotta have. That you can't let anyone from the past hold you back, especially with that gap of time. ridiculous. Don't ever feel bad for growing. Don't ever feel bad for progressing and moving on and moving forward. Some people don't know how to take that leap because they're so comfortable in that spot of life, too scared to move on because they don't know what's going to happen. Well, that's what life is all about. It's all about not knowing. It's the unknown. It's progressing into the unknown. You don't know, like let's say for instance, someone who's very big on shoes and clothes, right? Well, it looks good. You don't know how it's gonna fit. It may look like the stitching's all there, the tag's right, nothing seems to be wrong with the with the material as you bought it in the store, but when you take it home, oh, what happened? I don't know. I can't think of anything other than the clothes burning up, but you know, something will happen and you're just like, oh, I have no more faith in this. Well, that's not the best way to look at things. Give it another shot. But it's just those people who are stuck in that pocket of comfort. They find comfort in those kind of interactions because they don't know how to cope with anything being new. But it's like, you're getting new things all the time. You're taking that leap of faith. Thank you, Keys. Faith. You're taking that leap of faith. I don't know if that's the context that you were saying it, but I'm gonna put it there. You take that leap of faith and trusting everything that you do, because if you're not keeping things consistent, no, I backtrack. Every day you wake up is living in the unknown. You have no idea what's happening unless you know the future. You've seen the future. You're a fortune teller. But every day you wake up is living in the unknown. You may live in repetition. That's you. But every day is the unknown, and you can't be scared of it. It's scary how life can be. It's scary to know what can happen. But as long as you try to be as prepared as possible, you may not experience that. And for the unlucky ones out there who have experienced trauma, tragic endings, it's these things happen. Because if it weren't for the technology and the weapons that we have, it was still people's lives were still being taken by other things, And everything has a beginning, everything has an end. If you're still able to live on past someone else's end, learn from them. Just learn from them. Mourn them, learn from them. Even learn from your peers. It helps to talk. It helps to share. Share those near-death experiences. Share the times that you got sick and almost died. Share the time that you got a paper cut and it didn't heal for 2 months. Share those kind of things, because you never know what tomorrow will bring. Let's see here. I don't know where I was. Okay, how about this? So let's talk about financial. It was a big one for me. It was definitely a big one for me. I used to be that person that would be like, all right, I would try to ration my money with fun. And I'd be like, okay, so I've got $120 to play with until next Friday. I have this, and this. I need groceries. Bills are paid. You kind of prioritize everything. It can be difficult or it can be very easy. I'll say this. There was a point in time where I thought having some type of liquor in my apartment, enough food to cook until I got paid again, internet was paid, as long as all that was taken care of, even some play around money, hey, maybe I don't want to cook tonight, I'll go out to eat, or I'll go pick something up. Whatever extra I had, I would try to configure in buying some games, buying some clothes when I was interested in them like that. Didn't really have a thing for shoes. Like, as long as I had the pair to match multiple outfits, I was good. I've got about 8 pairs, but you know, they'll all serve their purpose more than once. But when it comes to financial decision making, that one's kind of tough because if you're doing it alone, it's a bit easier. You know, I mean, if you have reservations and restrictions about the things that you do or you like or you partake in, it can be easy. The difficult thing is being able to get that check and see that money go in a matter of minutes because of bills. That's hard, and it always will be. But you have to take that. You have to understand, like, dang, do I want to keep seeing this happen, or do I want to work towards something better? So when those bills come out of my check, I still got some money left over. And instead of looking at it like, damn, I could be like, okay, um, so yeah, no, that's a good example, you know, because I would always sit there and look at my account like, oh, I'm working these little jobs, and I'm getting some money, but you know, I'm not saving anything, and my mentality was just like, oh, I'll get paid soon. And it also helped being able to get tips. You know, when you work at a bar or restaurant, you getting those tips in, and you know, you're getting a little $400 or $500 checks each 2 weeks, but you made a couple of hundred more in tips, you know, within those 2 weeks. It helps. But when you don't have that bar job, that restaurant job, that server job, whatever you're getting tipped or however you're getting tipped, if you don't have that job, definitely get something to where you got extra money. Um, because me personally, having I knowing that it'd be like a Friday and I'm strapped for cash, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make a good about 50 to 100 a night, and I'm good for the weekend up until about Tuesday, Wednesday. Which then I know I have another 3 days to make another $150. So I'm good until I get paid. That mentality can get you into a lot of trouble. Especially when you're at a bar and you're affiliated with drugs and alcohol. Yeah, you start doing some bad prioritizing. But it's all right. You know, you make those mistakes, live and learn. Because when things start happening for you, and they will, you'll notice that you're busier. You have less time to socialize. You have less time to do things that you normally do, and it's kind of a rough start because you're not used to it. You know, it says it takes 21 days to get used to something. Well, when you're thrown into this path of success, you're like, oh man, I don't know what I got myself into. I'm kind of like blown away. I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. You have to start prioritizing life. So I can't sleep because I'm trying to party. Well, gotta cut back the partying. I don't feel so well because I'm dehydrated. Well, it's time to cut back everything that's dehydrating you, whatever it is, because you have to keep yourself in some kind of shape to keep up with that new career or a new life. You know, family. I don't know if you guys can hear them, but these kids on here, they're having a tough time having movie night. I'll tell you right now, with me doing the streaming, music, and DJing, and then kids, yeah, I'm a little busy. I am tired. I don't get to do what I want anymore. I have to like fix my schedule around them. They don't even realize that I'm doing it. But you know, that's what comes with the territory. And but it teaches me something. Am I really interested in doing what I want to do? Do I continue to pursue it? So now, instead of me thinking of it like, oh, I have to circle my schedule around my family, it's okay, I got to make time for family. Well, that's too damn bad. That is my all-time favorite line from about any movie. I will always love that line. I'll take that to my grave. Write that on the back of my grave. I love that line. Thank you for that, Keys. But yeah, you know, like, okay, so I had to reprogram myself with thinking. So I had to decide, do I still want to continue this career path of art and entertainment? Well, I do, because I put so much time and money into it. If I don't do this, I have nothing left to do. I have a plan B, but plan B means I'd have to go back to school, and I hate school. But I want to do this, so I've got to throw myself into it, and I've got to start I was making this philosophy with my stepdad the other day. Because I'm turning a certain age next month. I ain't trying to have like clown on me. I don't care. I'm turning 32 next month, and I feel like there are some times. Well, there were more times than there are now. I'm pretty comfortable with it now, but I felt like I was behind because I had peers who were going to college, who were graduating, who were getting their masters and their bachelors, and they're doing the thing, and they have good jobs, they have adult jobs, and they have thousands in their bank account. And I'm sitting here looking at this $100 in my wallet, you know. I was telling him how because I felt behind, I had to reevaluate why I felt that way, and it's because I didn't have a lot of time to assess what I wanted to do back then, because I was taking care of responsibility with the family. So, hold on. Okay, I was just checking to make sure the stream was frozen. It looks like it was frozen for me, but um, I was telling him that I felt behind because of how old I am, and I still have more to learn and a lot to gain. So as I was talking to him, I got to understand that I carry the responsibility of looking out for my siblings at a young age for my family, while things were happening, and I realized that all the time that I could have put into, you know, fabricating the craft, doing better, learning things, I put into making sure the family was taken care of. And at a young age, I had to I had to put a pause on where I wanted to go as far as a career. So that pause went all the way up until I was like, okay, it's time to be about me now. So if, let's say, that pause, we could relate that to being frozen. So frozen in time, my career at the age of, let's say, 11, 12. I'm 31 now. I started picking things back up about maybe 2, 3 years ago. So 29. Um, so from, let's say, 11 to 29, that's 18 years. So picking it back up where I am now, I'm not, as far as me being career wise, I'm not 31 turning 32. I'm actually 14. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, the ability to put in the effort to pursue this career was put on hold. Therefore, my career life was on hold. So the age, my career age is actually 14 instead of 11, because I was 11 18 years ago. Well, in the math that I had it, I was 11 and I had to put it on hold. Now I'm where I'm at now. I'm picking up where I left off. Defrosting the career. So it didn't age, it's still there. So it made me feel better to think of it that way. Is that I may have gotten older, but I'm not behind. I just pick up where I left off because I had other things to take care of. And it did make me feel a lot better because now I can really evaluate the fact that I'm not behind. It's just, it's time to get to work because now it's like I have a family and I've got other things going on, but I'm going to continue to pursue this career. So I have to now fabricate a schedule that allows me to do so. Let's see. A good segue would be life changes. So let's say if I was trying to decide on, oh, actually, easy one. A high school kid coming into college. That's a big life change because do you stay home and work, or do you go to college and like you let's say you got a scholarship to go to a very prestigious school, and it means you got to move, and it's kind of like a permanent move. Let's say abroad. Yeah, let's say abroad. So let's say you got accepted to a prestigious school abroad, and you have to move. Do you do that, or do you stay home and find somewhere local? Well, I can see how that would be really tough because you may be the type of person who's big on family. You got family, or there's other, at that time you kind of stop thinking about your friends because your friends should be supportive enough to be like, no, go do the big thing, come back, and we'll all be the same way. Blah blah blah. However, we used to talk when we were younger, and we thought that we were gonna do it all together, like Power Rangers. Um, like you start thinking of your future ahead. And most people do. Some people will think about friends and you're like, oh, boo, I don't want to, something like that. But when it comes to life changes, like, do you go abroad? Do you make the necessary steps to go abroad, or do you stay home? What is keeping you home? What takes you abroad? What will you come back with? What you learned abroad? What will you learn from home that you can take with you anywhere you go? Those are the kind of the options that you have to weigh out with that decision. And honestly, that's kind of one of those decisions where it's like, do you feel like you'll learn more leaving the country, or do you feel like you'll learn more staying home? Um, and there are perks, and then there are also cons to each decision, but I can definitely see where that would be a tough one. I think for me, if I was to be fresh out of high school, going into college, uh, just me and the will of fortune. No, I'm playing. The will to succeed. I would definitely take the trip. I would first have to look into exactly what people are learning, what they're gaining, what's out there for me. Because not only do you have to worry about school, but you have to worry about your environment. Where are you gonna live? What's the crime rate like? What's the housing like? The living conditions. What are the are you living on campus? Do you what's the word I'm looking for? Like, is your housing paid for if you're living off campus? Things like that. Is there a language that you have to learn? Can you learn enough to live there, or can you find someone who also speaks English to help you out until you can do better on your own? So many factors to consider when it comes to going abroad, but there's also factors to consider if you were to stay home. So let's say you're in Texas and you got accepted to a school in, I don't really know my school, so I'm gonna go say Michigan. But you gotta think that's a huge weather change. That's one. Can you handle the weather change? Two, can you handle the environment? A little different, depending on where you go. Financial, boarding, all that stuff. Is it different? Is it better? Is it the same? And then when you're home, you kind of consider, do I have time to travel? Will I have the money to travel? With breaks, can I go see my family? Can I go home? So there's a plus to staying home with that. When you're abroad, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm here. There ain't no back and forth because I'm here. And yeah, that's a tough one. I can definitely see that, but I honestly, I don't see that there would be any consequence to either one. It's just whatever's more befitting for you. It'll be tough at first, but once you get out there and spread your wings with whatever decision you make, I feel like it'd be a lot easier. And there'll always be that piece of you where you hold your family near and dear to your heart, but there's always that lot of you that says this is for the best. This is for you to be what you want to be. That's always a cool thing, to be able to reevaluate and assess with yourself that you have this endeavor to pursue, and it's all or nothing. You got what it takes, or are you gonna buckle and just tell yourself to be ordinary? And that's the pressure, and that pressure is always, to me, that pressure. I tend to do well in pressure. I do well without pressure, but when it comes to being buckled in pressure, I think I'm consistent with not losing my grip. Gets a little hectic and crazy, things start to arise, but I can still keep going. I've had my moments where I kind of broke, but I think I can handle stress and pressure now. Um, One big one I actually want to discuss here. I've got another 20 minutes before I start letting anyone join if you want to. By the way, I am open. I will open up requests here in just a moment. To let anyone in to kind of, I think I'll just do audio. Uh, better tools. Better tools. What do you mean better tools? While he. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. No, I think it's the CPU. Yeah, I gotta play with it. I really do. Oh, okay. Thank you. No, I just gotta play with it. I gotta figure it out. But yeah, I was just so excited to think. Um, but yeah, no, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Um, but yeah, I will open up requests if anyone wants to hop in and kind of give me some insight on how you feel. Do you think, again, one sole individual is responsible for all these categories that the child is looking at in these mirrors? I got two more, and then I'll start to open that up. But I'll go ahead and move on here. Another reason for decisive action would be right and wrong, also known as morality. So this one is kind of a biggie. Right and wrong, as I said earlier, we all tend to know what right or wrong is. The more you've experienced in life, not just age, but the more you've experienced in life, the more you understand what's right and wrong. One big thing that I also explained earlier is that when you know right from wrong, do you continue to stay on the path of wrong? I've done that. It's gotten me in trouble. I don't do that anymore, and I feel I'm a much better person. I it's it's definitely a weight off your shoulders when you can just be like, that's not me no more. Like whenever I know something's wrong and I don't do it, I feel good because I know my day is not going to change. It's not going to go into some disaster where I have to spend a week or a month trying to play, collateral damage, or I'll be like, ignore it. And expect someone not to be like, hey, yo, I heard. It's like, nah, man, let's just not talk about it. But right and wrong. So let's just kind of break that down as far as morality goes. I think there are so many things where you can be like, is it right? Is it wrong? And I would love to get into that, but like I said, there's so much to sit there and play the balance game with. It's just like, take it from the essential key of right and wrong. Is this something that's affecting someone in a negative way? Does it affect you in a negative way? Is this a long term or short term? Actually, that one doesn't really matter because if it's affecting someone, it's affecting someone. So we'll go ahead and scratch that. So does it affect them negatively? Does it affect you negatively? I feel like that pretty much is that's it. I mean, yeah, or because something always will affect something or someone. So let's say it doesn't affect you because you're telling yourself you don't care, but it also doesn't affect anyone. Are you vandalizing or destroying something that's not yours? Are you disturbing something that's not yours, that doesn't belong to you, that you didn't acquire your own by either trade or purchase or gift? You know, that's pretty simple on what the term or the definition of the term yours is. Something that you own. Um, when you think of it as it negatively affecting you, will this stay in your heart? Will this rupture your mentality, your mental? Will this rupture you mentally? Like, can you handle making the action? So let's say, for instance, ooh, a good one. Well, okay, this will be good for both good and bad. So let's say there is a gunman in the store. Now, if you're an employee, you were probably taught not to engage. Let the man take what he wants, or I'm sorry, let the person take whatever they want. You stay safe, you keep everyone else safe, right? So, if you're a customer, well, you tend to make sure anyone with you is aware, safe, and protected. And then you tend to also look for an escape. This decision to disarm or take down the assailant, that'll be a big one. Now let's say you end up taking down the assailant. There is a scuffle, and you get the gun. Let's say that the gunman has already fired shots on people. He's struck customers. He may have even killed someone. All you know is people got hit, and you have the ability to take the gun, aim it at the assailant. Now here is the question at hand. Knowing that he's done the deed of taking life, whether he has or not, he's done the deed to take a life. Do you take his, or do you make him suffer the consequences? Now this one will be a 50-50 because some people will say, well, if it was my family, he'd be dead. If it was my friend, he'd be dead. If it was my loved one, that person would be dead. Some people will say, well, he's already shot people up. To keep him from doing it anymore, yes, I will shoot him. To split from that decision, it's do you kill him or do you incapacitate him? Shoot him in the leg, make him not be able to move, or do you end his life? Or do you spare him and let him suffer the consequences of his actions by law? So, you're met with what's right, what's wrong. Well, as you may have the ability to do so, even by government, even governed, we are not the judge, jury, or executioner of anyone's life. Whatever is to happen will happen. Unfortunately, this person did take lives. Morally, I would say it's not right to take this person's life unless you really had to. Let's say you were in a scuffle and you were having problems getting the gun out of this person's hand. Fingers are on the trigger. You're trying to struggle to see which way it aims. It's getting close to you, gets close to this gunman. You start to overpower. He's going on a teach. Try to not read it. You start to overpower the gunman, and then next thing you know, you both fall, and then the gunshot goes off. Perfect movie moment, right? Everyone's waiting to see what happened. Who rolls over first? Well, you both roll over because you were on your sides. You get up to move, and you feel to see if you've been shot, if there's any blood. But you look over and see this man's not moving. Well, that was an accident. There is no right or wrong, because you were just trying to stop for the assailant from continuing any more harm on anyone else. Let's say he didn't come in there to steal. He would just wanted to be a gunman and say, hey, my life means nothing. Neither does yours. And he shoots up the place. Well, this man is now dead by accident. It is not necessarily you that took his life. It was the scuffle with the gun in play that took his life. I mean, unless you knew exactly that you twisted it and pulled the trigger upon falling, then yeah, you could take the responsibility for that. But I mean, in a scuffle, people tend to let adrenaline take them, and they don't understand what's going on part of the time, and it can happen. That can be an accident. But let's say you stopped him, he tripped and fell, gun goes sliding across the floor. You go rush and grab that gun, turn around, aim it, and it says, don't move. You pull it. You put the man on a t-shirt like he says, or do you let him get arrested? What's right and what's wrong? Do you feel that even though you could pull the trigger, it'd be wrong? Are you exacting revenge when you pull the trigger? Or are you making him taste his own medicine? Do you find it morally correct to exact revenge on someone's wrongdoing? They're tough questions. I myself don't feel like I'd be able to answer them, and even more so in the moment. But I genuinely believe I may stop myself. Can I pull the trigger? Most definitely. I would. But I think somewhere in me would say, even though this man has taken lives, it's not right for me to do the same. Not to mention, you may never know. You could end this man's life. They'll find out who did it, and he may have had people on the outside saying, hey, if anything happens to me, track him down, take him down. And that could be you and your family. That's also a very scary thing. You could take someone's life because they were shooting up the place, and next thing you know, you've got a target on your back. Things that to think in the moment. And as we had spoken before in previous episodes, these kind of thoughts can happen in a matter of milliseconds. You got to be able to keep up with your brain on it. So, you know, you're having a nice easy day shopping. Pow 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 pow. Oh, that's obviously shooting because there's no fireworks that sound like that inside the building. Everyone's screaming and running, and you hear more gunshots. So you go to take cover first. You get down, assess the situation. Who do I have with me? Where do I go? What do I do? Where is this man coming from? Can I escape him going forward, or do I get around him? What is his path? Those things need to be thought about in the first 3 seconds of you being able to understand where you're at and what's going on. And I mean, you just kind of take it as you go. It's all about survival at that point. I understand I keep making these morbid decisions and morbid like suggestions, but it it kind of helps. It helps me to understand it can get that drastic because it can be as minor as, let's say, right and wrong. Let's say okay. Let me throw an easy one in there that'll be morality based. Uh, let's say you're in the drive-through McDonald's. You pull up. You order the McChicken with some fries. You get a bag. No, you get 2 bags, and you drive off. You got 4 meals in front of you, but they're not yours. Well, before COVID rules, would you go and give it back? Or would you just drive off? Now with COVID rules, even though we're outside of COVID, they're still kind of doing the thing like, oh, you can't just return it because they're just going to throw it away. But, you know, like, if you didn't touch it, they'd be like, oh, did you open it? Nope. All right, well, hey, here's your food. Now they got to remake it. But, you know, that's a small moral-based decision. Do you take it back and go get the food, the right food you paid for, or do you drive off with the bonus? But, you know, you do. You definitely do. But if your order was, so Key said you always check and make sure it's yours. That's absolutely true. Don't drive off until you're done. Don't feel pressure to drive off either, because sometimes people be playing. We know that, especially at Popeyes. But you know, check that bag and sit there. Even if the people in the window are sitting there watching you, you look back with a smile and be like, one moment, make sure you guys got it right. Because people make mistakes. And again, it's okay to make a mistake. And it's okay to let someone know they made a mistake, as long as you're not pompous about it, and as long as the person making sure you're not making a mistake is also not pompous. But yeah, it's so like, okay, let's say again, you win up there, McChicken, small fry, that's all I want, boom, right? Person at the second window, because you always got to go to the second window. They're like, oh, here's all your food. You get 2 bags, 4 meals, and they go, have a good night. And you start to drive off, and you're like, wait a minute. Do you go, hey, this isn't my order? Or do you like, got him? You know, that's kind of where that's a small morality based situation scenario. But you know, we're always met with right or wrong. No matter what you do in life, you're always gonna be met with right or wrong. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes you're just like, because there's those times where it's like, Now, I think I'm with everybody when I say when it's a Black Friday deal and you put the wrong sticker on on your merchandise, do you go with it, or do you like, nah, I'm not gonna steal from these people? I'm not saying a and And if I see you do it, I didn't see nothing. Hey, you take me shopping, whatever you walk out with, I don't know what you did. I have no idea what's going on. I went shopping for me, you were just my tag along. I'm not your babysitter. Am not. But I mean, I can't stress enough. Listen, we've all made mistakes, and sometimes the way that we approach people making mistakes, the tone that we carry, it's not always defensive. It's not always an attack. Sometimes that's just how people talk. But you all like listen first before you get offended. It'll help. And I'm not just telling you that to call you soft. I'm saying it as a strong suggestion. Like really start to train yourself to listen before you get offended, because when you start to listen and have a conversation with people, you truly understand things within that context of that conversation and more about yourself. You can be more armored with being able to take criticism. Some people, like a lot of people these days, don't know how to take criticism. People can't be wrong or they feel attacked, and then they go run to people or social media and they make this whole situation into a thing that shouldn't have been, because they can't take criticism. They can't be wrong. But some people, once people hear someone who's famous say something, once they read some article on the internet, they're like, ah, that's the right answer, nothing else above it. Come to find out they're wrong. Well, I wasn't completely biased with that statement. I was just saying, but you didn't say anything else, you know? And like it's like they continue to make excuses to stay right, but they can't ever be wrong. Fantastic skill to have, even more so when it's continuously being polished every year. Perfectly said, Sean. Perfectly said. And look, here's the thing. Growing, there's really no time frame to do it. As much as society wants to sit here and label somebody childish because they're doing something that they know is right or wrong, like I even sometimes I'll say, I'll be like, yo, you acting real childish right now. But you know, whether this person learned right or wrong with me just before I did, just after, or they're just now learning it, I really don't know what they know until I have an actual conversation with them. Now, if I know this person and I know that they can be above this behavior, oh yeah, you childish, get it together. It's time for you to let go of this little thing that you got going on. Time to grow up. It's not working. And you try to make it work, because you can always understand when someone's trying to force a narrative, is how animated they get with trying to prove someone wrong. I myself, I in a professional setting, I feel like I grew to be a lot better about being able to be poised when it comes to someone trying to kind of be like attacking or defensive about me calling them wrong or correcting them. It was almost fun to me, you know, where you could sit there and just kind of have like a smirk on your face and be like, well, this, well, that, what about this, what about that? And they're just like, no, 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 no. And you're like, here's this one fact that'll shut this whole conversation down, and they cannot handle it. I got a kick out of it, but you know what? I got tired of it as well, because it's like you do it with the same people and you're just like, well, you're clearly Mm, I hate using the word narcissistic, because a lot of people use it for people who they really just disagree with. But sometimes you get those people who are very narcissistic. They're like, "Oh no, I'm right. You're wrong. I've done my research." Well, you did your research either half-assed or wrong, because all this evidence that I found, that I know, states otherwise. All these people over here that have been hearing this conversation are disagreeing with you and know that I'm saying right. Now, that's not to go and say that every conversation I had in a professional setting, I was right. No, I've been wrong. I will be wrong. But I have been taking the liberty of understanding where I'm wrong, how I can be better, how I will not be wrong. It's not about being wrong. It's about learning, so I understand to give the correct information the next time this conversation comes up, the next time I have to speak on this behalf, you know, something like that. It's just, it's not about being right. It's about being correct. I think that statement is as strong as it can be. It's not about being right, it's about being correct. Now, for those of you who don't understand what I'm saying, when you strive to be right, you don't give any room for someone to be wrong, because you're like, oh, you're wrong, it's just me. What I'm saying is right. What I'm saying is the only thing that will ever matter. But when you're correct, you're open-minded to there being other options, if there the right answer, how to get the right answer, or hey, maybe this, maybe that. There's other options and possibilities. You can be correct, but you can still be able to have a conversation. You can still be approachable. But when you're right, you know, someone's always like, you're just always trying to be right. You always have to be right. There's those people. People have said that about me. It's like, nah, I'm just correct. You have this inferior complex about yourself to say that I'm right when really I'm just correct. You don't want to see it the way I see it, but I get what you're saying. You know, so you know those are kind of some ideas about being right and wrong, or being of morality based. Last one I'll get to before I start letting people in to speak. Life and death. One that comes to mind is pulling the plug. I'll just come right out and say it. That one right there, I feel like there's no right or wrong, unless you're like, hey, rubbing hands together, trying to get this money, trying to get this will. Let's go ahead and just put them to sleep for good, for early. That's wrong. You know, like when someone has intent to be like, the material is far more important in this person's life, even though they're on the brink of death. Let's just go ahead and cut them loose early, and we can get the ball rolling. Like that right there, you are greedy and very wrong. I have do not care what anyone else says. That's messed up. To be like, oh, you're on your way out anyway. Might as well just go ahead and get it on early. That's messed up. Nah, because there's other people who care about that person. You are trying to get what you think you can get out of the will. And this is just a general scenario. This isn't me talking about anyone specific. But, you know, for someone to be like, okay, pull the plug. Let's get this money, you know? There's kids, there's other family members, there's distant family members who find this person like, oh, I need to see them one last time, but you worried about what's in the will. Get out of here, you know? That's one thing, a very big decisive action as far as life and death goes. Another thing, going hand in hand with the earlier scenario at the mall, a gunman comes and he goes bang bang bang, points it at you, you disarm the person. In a scuffle, do you bang back, or do you let that man get arrested? Another one that was brought to my attention is if someone is being taken advantage of, and you know it's a sexual assault case. I'll keep it as PG as possible. I won't go into details, and I won't make it a thing. But let's say it's a sexual assault case. But this woman, she knows self-defense. This person is clearly trying to continue his pursuit on getting what he wants from her, but she's very, very successful in fighting this person off. Well, he goes to pull a weapon. She goes to, you know, pull one too, because now she's in a life or death situation. Let's say he pulls a knife, she finds a brick, hits him on the head, this man doesn't wake up. Now, is she right or wrong? I think everyone will speak the same thing. She was right in defending herself, but did she know that she was going to kill him? No. She was just trying to get out of this person's grasp. She was trying to find an escape, and she did. Unfortunately, it came to this person's death because he pulled out a weapon, and in an attempt to, I guess, scare her into getting what he wanted, but flight or fight, well, she had to fight to flight. And if him using his power to overpower her, also with a weapon, and he goes to, or I'm sorry, she goes to, you know, reach for something that she can to hit him with, because she's all out of options. First thing she feels is this heavy object that she can pick up, smashes him over the head, gets away. Come on, later find out this man has passed. Life or death. Your life is on the line. Someone's trying to take advantage or take your life. What do you do? You know, I think I heard or read somewhere that in the event that your life... Oh, response. Let's see. Key says she's right, because at the end of the day, you have to protect your life. Good response. I like that take. I'll say this. So I feel like I did read or I heard about when it comes to it being it comes to an investigation. You're the survivor, the assailant, or the the person, the attacker, the assaulter, is dead, right? You still get in trouble because you took a life. Um, Here's where I'm conflicted. If your life is being is if it's your life that's on the line, and you, out of protection and safety for not only you but anyone else around, take the life of someone who's trying to take your life, why were you getting in trouble? Because what this is where the conflicted part is, and I won't make this a thing, but I'd have to say this. Why is a cop able to take a life and get paid leave with the possibility of returning to work because he was fighting for his life, feared for his life? But you, as an assaultee, killed your assaulter, trying in the attempts to escape that person's grasp, and you get jail time because you shouldn't have killed them. But a cop can say, "Oh, a weapon, bang bang, whoops, they were reaching for an inhaler." You've been trained as a police officer to assess the situation, to find cover, to be about cover, to handle the public if there was ever a situation, and yet you feared for your life because someone's having trouble breathing. And this is just a general scenario, nothing I'm speaking on for real. But you know, at that time in life, there are cops saying, "Oh, they were doing this, they were doing that. I feared for my life." Blah blah blah. You're a cop. You've been trained to do this, but the assaultee had to do what they had to do to escape being taken advantage of, being killed, being robbed, no matter, because in the moment when you're the person being assaulted, you have no idea where this is going to go. You have to act fast and get out of there as quick as you can. But when the result ends up being someone's life is taken that was doing the assaulting, you still get in trouble. Now, who's right and who's wrong in that situation? I'll end it. Actually, you know what? I'll start the conversation there. That's where we'll go. How do you feel about who's responsible for these actions on the board? And then how do you feel about someone having the consequence of having to escape a near-death experience? I'll open it up. While I'm waiting for the okay. So while I'm waiting for this request to go through, I did realize we yet again have an extra Thursday. But it'll be the 31st. So today's the 3rd. We come back on the 17th, and then we'll meet again on the 31st. And then from there, the first Thursday of September will be the 7th, day after my birthday. I have to check in. I think we're lucky to get this extra week here because I gotta double check. I think I might be on vacation. I'll keep y'all updated though, but we're gonna see. Waiting for guests to connect. Okay, so Keys he'll be slotted here in just a moment. I'll let him in here in a little bit. All right, Sean, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. I hear you too on the stream and in my ear.
Don't worry, bro. I unmuted myself because you muted me. Don't worry about it. I got it. That's why I was singing the song. I was singing and I knew you couldn't hear me. I was like, oh, he for sure would have reacted to that. There he is, muted me and unmuted me. He left me on mute by accident.
All right, perfect. So you are heard. We are heard. Good evening, good sir, and again, happy birthday to you.
Thank you, good sir. Thank you. Good evening to you.
How's it going, champ? How's your day so far?
You know, not too bad. We celebrated more yesterday than today because people had work and I had some appointments today too. So it's been a good day. Just chill.
That's good. That's good.
No complaints.
And you said that you were 48.
Yeah, man. I look pretty good though, huh?
Look smooth, my man. Look smooth.
Hey, listen. Wish I could tell you the secret, but I won't.
That's all right. I'll take it.
That comes with old age. You're allowed to gatekeep. I don't make the rules.
You don't have to follow me there.
They benefit me, so why not?
That's a perk of being old too. You can just start breaking rules and it won't matter.
Shoot, rules don't matter to me anymore.
Oh, we got ourselves a rebel.
Oh, listen. I gotta get my youth back somehow. Hello.
So originally, before the intermission, the question was, first one was, do you find a sole individual to be fully responsible for their decisive actions? And do you think that if an assaultee was to, in any way, shape, or form, kill their assaulter, are they held responsible for the consequences out of the sole purpose that they were trying to escape for their life because their life was in danger? We'll start off with the first one, Sean. Is one individual solely responsible for the decisive actions?
We spoke on this once before. I said yes, and then I said yes and no.
Right.
You spoke mainly about it before, so and a lot of the stuff I do agree with for the yeses on my end. For the no, for me, I think it goes not in the route of like physical harm or abuse that way. I'm talking like abuse of the mind and just breaking somebody down, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you and I meet and this is a different timeline. And I'm not a good dude. And I decide after like we've been friends for about 3 years or so. I'm just going, okay, I'm gonna switch something, drop a nugget in there. And now you're gonna start to move the way I want you to. Because we've been talking about it for so long, and now I'm starting to put that nugget in, and now I'm gonna move you the way I want you to.
Yeah.
I have no choice of yours because I planted that seed already. You think you might be doing it like making the choice yourself, but I wanted you to do it. So is it really your choice of you doing that and making that choice? Like in your head, you're like, oh yeah, dude, like totally made that decision. No, you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I orchestrated this whole thing. None of it was real. It was all me. None of it's you. Like manipulation, that's like an extreme form of manipulation, but there's smaller forms where that does happen to people.
And above all, still powerful. Still powerful.
Yeah, it's so when I say no, I don't mean like that person is just solely like absolvent of everything they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because they physically did it. They physically did it. Now, the punishment might be less severe if it's proven it was like not, truly their fault and it was them being manipulated over the course of years to believe something like that.
Yeah.
That's where I say no. I was like, no, like I can't. And then, if we go back and we're looking at our image here, and the image is that of a child. Like, how can I look this little girl like in her face and wholeheartedly tell her like truthfully,
mm-hmm.
You're not ultimately responsible for every action you do. You're responsible for a lot of actions you do, not every single one of them, because you are shaped by your environment.
Mm-hmm.
you are shaped the way other people want to shape you until you can figure out how to unmold yourself, and you just kind of go with it.
Okay.
There's sometimes like you don't have the I wouldn't expect, I'm not saying like children aren't intelligent because they are, but I wouldn't expect her to just have the foresight and knowledge that comes from experience to understand that, oh yeah, no, this one was, my choice, but this one for sure, no, I had no idea what was kind of like going on there. I don't expect her to know stuff like that.
Yeah.
So to me, I would say no. No, this person, like for this board in this scenario in this room, I think it could be. I don't have it, so I'm not gonna actually. I don't have the replacement for it, so I'm not gonna say it. Um, I feel like it could be again. I don't know what's going on in this picture. There could be a whole diorama off to her left or to her right, explaining it or breaking it down later. No idea, but just off of this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
For the
Just simply off the fact
actions
that,
for the
like,
actions part, when we're
yeah.
talking about the actions, I say yes and no, and that's where I'm going to stand on it. Like, that's my hill. Just because and the reason I say that is because myself, uh, if we're going off of like the hard, yes, you are fully responsible for your actions, right? Then where does it fit for you to rightfully tell somebody it's not their fault?
Okay. Well, yeah.
When
That kind of goes in
after a
hand in
while
hand. Like
with that
when,
time period, like, is it really you doing it? No, you've been conditioned, groomed, and polished
mm,
to walk this way, look at certain people this way, be attracted to certain things this way, and not even understand why it's happening. Why you keep going back to like these toxic traits, why only this brings you around, because that's what they groomed for you to like and go to. Like that's something that happens. That's something that did happen.
mm,
So like this is not like my emotions are like in check. That's I'm just like it's a genuine question as to if you truly believe that somebody is fully responsible for their actions at the end of the day. That's on you. Then how can you really tell them that it's not their fault when they kept doing it? Because it's not their fault, but kept doing it. So is it really?
so
Like, when is
with
it
that,
not their fault?
that's a very good point to make. The only the only issue for me that I see is that if you're speaking about someone who knows right and wrong, but they continue to do it. So let's say that someone's
What they
been
believe to be right and wrong, I'd say.
okay, yeah. So, um, let's say on a basic morality basis, right? Um,
Big bet.
uh, we know, like, okay, so let's say this person who's been manipulated, and yes, manipulation, when you view it, it can happen to anyone, and it's very very terrible when it happens or when you find out it did happen. But if you've been manipulated to believe that things could be in your favor or, whatever the case may be, but it's wrong. But you're looking for it to be how you were, I guess, how it was presented to you to be. So let's say like, you're in a situation where someone's not, emotionally best for you. They're kind of emotionally beating, emotionally abusive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like they're manipulating you and make you believe one thing, whatever. Then you find out later on that it's not how it was supposed to be, or it was a full blown lie. Yet you continue to stick around, or you continue to try to see the means above the ends, and then find this result that you probably aren't going to get because there are signs that show that this person will not change. They will do everything that
Right.
they can to be above you at all times. You choose to stay in that situation knowing you need to get out of it, so to speak. That's kind of like, if you know it's wrong, at that point you're enabling, I feel, you're enabling the person that's manipulating you, because not only are
I
you
agree with
allowing
that.
them to do that, you're also allowing them to understand how to get better at it.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
But as far as, you know, if you're being full blown manipulated, or if you're someone who's younger and you're dealing with someone who's older of experience, whatever the scenario is, and you've been manipulated to believe one thing is the right way or no way at all, and you've yet to learn anything beyond that, yes, I can agree that you are not, you know, you don't actually know that you're wrong. And you know, in some, I guess, being held responsible for your actions, you'd have to understand that they were wrong and you had always been manipulated. But I guess, as you know, I guess that's splitting in between, like,
Splitting
are
hairs.
you a governing
Splitting hairs.
force, or are you someone on a moral basis? Like, if you've been steered
Yeah.
wrong all your life and you had no idea that was the case, that's not your fault. But I think instead of saying that's not your fault, it's saying, like, you were manipulated, but here's what
The
you can learn to be
consequences of like
better.
what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
But
gonna be a little less severe, but this is
yeah,
normally what happens. We're gonna give you a little like less.
right. Because, like, you have someone
Still gotta do it.
who's like obviously confused and distraught on the fact that things have happened, and like they were, oh, I thought it would be this way, or I thought this was the way, and you're like, no, there's a whole variety of options outside of what you learn, and if this is the only thing you learn, I'm sorry to tell you, it's wrong. But you can be right by understanding that you can learn how to be better than this. That's the fresh start. That's the consequence right there, is just understanding that you could be right. Knowing that you were wrong, but you could be right. I think that's the consequence to which you are beheld about you in a situation like that.
Yeah.
And it sucks. I mean, I think a lot of us have been in
Super
situations
sucks.
where we've been in manipulated.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Everybody. Everyone. Even if it's to like supposedly like help you.
mhm,
Like it comes in all shapes and forms.
it does. And
Mm.
unfortunately, a lot of us have done it as well. You know, if we,
Mm-hmm.
whether we want to admit it, whether we know that we did it, we were willing to accept it, or if it's just like, dang, I didn't really know that that was manipulation. Like, as long as you're
Yeah.
able to understand that it happened and you know that you shouldn't do it, then yeah,
For sure.
because manipulating someone can really ruin not only their life but their psyche.
Dude.
They will
Dude,
never trust again.
it's a very long lasting scar.
Yes. I mean, like a pretty common, obvious one is relationships. When someone gets manipulated in a relationship, they go on with the next relationships, if they allow themselves to be in them, to never trusting again.
Yeah, and you know, if it was like a some sort, and you know, not everybody does it. I didn't do it for a long time. Um, I don't think it's a terrible idea if you need to like unpack after each relationship. Like, okay, that one was a kind of a doozy at the end. Let me go talk to a third party for a little bit and unpack that
Yeah.
and make sure I'm good to go. And then, you know, but you know, we all aren't gonna do that's a perfect world, dude. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's a perfect world. I don't do that. For sure, I don't do that. I just started to do that. Like
Yeah, a lot of us be like, oh,
a
on to
perfect.
the next one.
Yep. Hey man, you gonna pick up these bags, right? Alright.
Nah, that's trash. That's trash.
But it's not. See,
Because it's there. What we don't realize is that we call it trash, but there's a line connected to it that'll just keep on dragging. So as we're trying to move on to the next one, we're like, why am I slowing down? Why do I feel this weight on me? It's because you didn't turn around to see that it wasn't trash. It was the line that you cast that you never cut. You just thought that because it was gone, it was gone. No, you're absolutely right, and that should be, like, that's the one thing, as where we're at now, growing into the adults that we are now, we should be able to explain this to the next of kin, anyone under us. Hey, you're gonna get into relationships. It's pretty much like inevitable. If
it's random
you,
each time, man.
yes, and if you so happen to separate from the one that you're in or the one that you're gonna get in, take some time to yourself. don't hop into the next one. Because whether you want to believe it or not, you are
And
affected by it.
you gotta unpack it,
You
even if it
gotta
was super
sit
good, because
with
you're
it.
gonna mourn it.
Yeah.
You're gonna weep it.
You gotta sit with it. You gotta understand, what happened,
But
why it
man,
happened. What can you do on your end to maybe not let those things happen again? It's not only how can you be better, but how can you receive better, Like
right.
let's say physically abused partners that they go on thinking that, some will be, hopefully this one doesn't do the same thing.
Mhm.
Or some people are like, hey,
You're
if he hits me, he
trusting the
hits me.
next human to just
Yes.
not be bad.
Yes. And
That's
the
terrifying.
thing is that this is why dating is so important. People nowadays, and I was a sucker of it at first, but I really just I I didn't fall for it anymore. But you have to be able to, I mean, if you're not going to date, at least figure out the person that you're interested in. And then if you
Do it
date,
every day.
continue to figure it out, because some people out here like, oh, it's been 2 years, y'all still ain't married. That's fast.
Yeah.
It's been
I just,
5 years, y'all still ain't married. I mean, that's
I just,
questionable, but it's like,
I
hey,
was like,
you haven't been
even,
through every scenario with this person, and
bro, like even after five, you could be like, huh,
anything, yeah.
okay. Now, dude, you kind of want to do this? Okay, cool. Yeah, okay.
I think
We'll try it
five is
out.
a really good number.
Five, I feel like five's a healthy number.
Because what you go through is you go through the ups and downs. I'm not feeling it today. I'm sick today. Are
You gotta
you the
build
type of person to
chest.
be jealous about your friends going out with the opposite sex? Are they the type of person to be jealous about you going out with the opposite sex?
I've been
Can
both. I've
I
been the one
I
who's
have
been
been
jealous and
both.
the one who's been not
I
jealous.
have
For
been
sure, guilty
both.
of both.
I have been both. Also, like, are you the type of person are you sexually active, and are you willing to just let it be with one person? Have you got it out your system yet?
Especially
Or
today. Oh Lord. I saw no, you know what? I'm gonna leave it. No, it was just it was no, it was a super good. It was really interesting. It was from it was from a certain point of view, and it wasn't really toxic. It was just kind of factual, but
Mhm,
it was like a toxic kind of factual,
mhm,
and it only applied really to like um I guess a certain type of individual. Like it was like it was a Reddit thread. Like men um have like we have problems like sharing, right?
yeah.
Some don't, but most do.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and then like that we have like issues like we don't like to share like a good person, like a
Yeah.
good one, whatever it is. And then somebody else was like, no, like you are correct, but the way it is today, women would rather share a good man than settle with one mediocre one. And that shit, I was like, wait, what is there like? Where do you get to say like the quality? Like, where does that come from? Like that to me, that doesn't mean like that's a good quality. Like man, like if you letting that happen, like you're just sucking. To me, like if you can do it, you can do it. I'm
Yeah.
not hating on nothing. Do what you can before people start getting pitchforks and stuff. Um, for me, that kind of like resonated with what like how people are doing it these days. Was like I can kind of I get like after I get my little like heat hat off, I was like okay, I can see where they're coming from. I get that, especially if that person has the capacity to do it for more than one person too.
Yeah.
Like why not bring your best friend into it and boom, like you're both taking care of like good. Like oh okay yeah okay this worked. First year's good, second year's good, third year's good. Okay we're doing it. You know. But I don't think people are doing it for those reasons.
Man, it's like
I don't
things
know, it's just all
now.
over the place.
It is like things now are just everywhere
Both men
because
and women. Like, why is men
everyone
too?
wants to feel like they're acknowledged. Like they want their beliefs to be acknowledged and also accepted. So they try to force it in. Like, okay, a perfect example of what we're talking about right now, like everything, like just kind of, taking a step away from this topic, but kind of staying
For
on
sure.
this whole thing with this whole Luna the plug and Adam 22 thing.
Oh my, we're going here.
Just
That,
for
you know,
just for
yeah,
just for a
yeah,
second.
yeah, yeah.
Just for a second.
Yeah, 'cause it works. It works for the actions.
But that's the
You
thing.
know,
I don't think it works because
I
I
know
don't
that
know,
works,
man. Like they try to
dude.
make it work, but I think this last one is a big one.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, because nobody wants to have this conversation. I'll
Yeah.
tell you why. So,
Actually, this goes with it. These are decisions. Yes. Let's
yeah,
continue.
no, this is decisions and words.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh shit.
uh, I don't want to hog up all the time, so I'll make it. I'll make it. I'll make my end with like Adam 2010 before my regular shit. I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why, because really, like, truly, it's a mature conversation
Yeah.
and it's a legitimate thing, and this is where he messed up on it. So, and the internet called it one label, and that's not what it is.
Yeah.
So everybody automatic cuck, right? Automatic. Say that, right? Automatic.
Yeah.
When anybody who's gone and looked at that niche, they're never shown. You maybe get a voice, hands, and maybe something else,
Mm-hmm.
but they're never shown. And if they are shown, they are participants.
Hmm.
He is shown and actively not participating
Yeah.
and encouraging it. And people call that, like, it is cuck behavior, but he's not one, because he's that's where people, like, boom, like, go after him. It's like, oh, one of you decided to show your face and it just happened to be you. You didn't, like, dog, you could have easily saved yourself with like a behind the scenes, hey, check out what we're doing behind the scenes, both together, or
Yeah.
anything other than that,
Yeah.
like that. I'm honestly kind of glad that happened, because that sparked a whole, like, horse blinders off
It was kind of
for
healthy though.
people.
It
it
definitely
it
made people think.
because it went from, because because when you have like the cut category, right, you have the bull category
Yeah.
with it, like that, like, that's why I said, like, they're never shown, because
Mm.
when you see the other person having a good, better time, and then they have like the talk and stuff with it,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be POV, and it's supposed to be like that for a reason. But oh, Adam 22, hey buckaroos, who wants a ticket? I'll watch you do it, and you'll know it's me. I'll encourage you. Like, no, dude. Like, it's no. It's like, and then what happens after something like that, and it's not like already like a regular kind of thing,
Yeah.
because it wasn't a regular kind of thing.
Oh.
It was a, hey, finally doing this. Huh? Finally? That's where you're already out the door. Finally? What you mean finally?
That was
It's
sad, huh? It was a
like
finally.
it should be the other way around. It should be the dude say finally. That kind of like,
Yeah.
nah, okay, and then you're not even going to jump in. And you've seen the dude's work. Like, he's seen the dude's work. He knows what the result is afterwards. If that happens, right, you could still be loyal, right? But you're always going to be changed by that, and think about that, because that sparked another thing that I read, to where it happened to somebody. They're like, it was the opposite. Like, the husband
Uh,
wanted initiated it. He wanted it for his wife. Um, Oh no, sorry. No, the wife wanted it for the husband because he was too big for her, and like and she always like had other people join in, blah blah blah. Always too big, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until she had her best friend come in, and as soon as the best friend and the husband after the first time, I decided to do it, like boom, instant, like first time all the way, boom, and it was, and she said like he immediately boom, and after that, after that moment, like she said she had never felt so inadequate in her relationship because it had never like been like perfect for anybody else.
Yeah.
And then they were physically made for each other and it worked. And then what made it worse afterwards, because you know she introduced the idea of that, he started asking more like, hey, when is she gonna come back around so we can do this again? Like that would make you feel awful.
Uh,
And who's to say that's not happening to him?
yeah.
Like that's what she's like doing to him
Vice
too.
versa.
Like
Yeah.
everybody's dagger to this, but it could also be that too. Like she said the words finally. Like she could dog. And he didn't even get to do nothing to bro. There's a lot there.
Yeah, that's
But let's get back on the topic of the podcast
so
because
with that whole situation.
like some actions is what that's a whole yeah, you know, I said I wasn't gonna talk about it and I decided to talk about it.
I
It's my
mean,
fault.
it's like, okay, so to
These
mesh
are
what
actions.
we were talking about, like, so we were on the subject of like how relationships just aren't the same anymore. They're just kind of like all over the place because people want to be acknowledged for what they want to do. They want it to be accepted, and they either drop the people that don't accept it, or they try really hard to try to convince them that it's all or nothing. You know, like my way or the highway. And so with this whole Adam and Luna thing, it's definitely, it coincides with the topic that we're talking about because it's like, have you thought about what's going to happen in the future? Like, for instance, you saying that he was like, oh, can we keep doing it? And she's feeling, right, them two, right, they're feeling, she was feeling inadequate or something like that, or that was
Right.
a theory.
Like that so that was a story that had happened to somebody else because they
Oh, okay.
introduced somebody and that person happened to be like the
Gotcha.
perfect physical match for them
Yeah.
and they could not physically help that.
Yeah.
And that could be the literal same thing for Adam 22. He cannot physically help that. He will never ever without assistance make her do that
Mm-hmm.
ever. Because what was it before? Just him and two girls.
Yeah,
And boom.
I'm
And
not
then you
even
throw
up to
two
speed on the
guys
whole
and
story, dog. I just
like
know that.
that's how his cast like was. It's always just dude, girl, girl. Never another dude.
Yeah.
And usually if that happens, it's always like happening to everybody participants, not just you know, nothing like that. I don't know what that is, don't know what that was. That's a gives you I don't know, give I don't know, everybody's line up kind of thing you did there, buddy. Um
So I
but
just,
those like those actions that he did, right, and the
yeah,
words that were said
yeah.
produced the results that they did. It was not everybody, like I said, nobody has problems and nobody has weird pitchfork like antennas like swirling around when it's done like how I mentioned.
Right.
If you do it the way he did it and you're already known, it's weird.
And I think it was just because, you know,
Especially if
the
it like
person that she picked and her being
and,
known, they're like, yo,
and your
why?
partner's not even like asking you to
Yeah.
while it's happening. Like, dude, you kind of have to like, I don't know, man, like
Man up.
helicopter or something, dog. Like, that
Lay it
was
on the
like that's
bed or
a
something.
like
Let it know it's
that's
there.
like homeboy even said like I'm pretty sure the homeboy even said like it was kind of like weird that he wasn't gonna like, participate. He's like because he does that regularly
Yeah.
like for like other people, and he's like yeah no like he I don't know like usually like if so like you just join or whatever like he's like no all right he's like I asked him. said no. It's like, okay, dude. No, well, now we have confirmation that you were indeed asked. You were asked, and you said no. That's now the ball's really in your court.
All right, so just to recollect here. So
Yeah, sorry.
no,
Getting
you're
off of
good.
you,
You're good.
dude.
I just know that we both would have made it just become the rest
we
of
gotta
the
get,
night
we gotta
that.
get, no, we gotta get keys in here.
um
I've been
Keys, if
on and
you're
on,
up and ready, let me know and we'll switch out. But just to kind of finish
whatever.
what we got here, yeah, like the way that people decide to try to implement how they want to operate in relationships is very, very, I want to say weird, but at the same time I don't. It's just different, but like it's very kind of aggressive, but also passive. The thing is that people are so scared to be wrong or to offend or to hurt. Like you can't be scared. Someone's always gonna be hurt in a relationship, because if it's not gonna work out entirely, I mean, you can end it mutually and be adult about it. But if not, there's always gonna be a hurt party. And the thing is that we have to understand in relationships, you're only like you have to date to get to know the person before you're like, hey, is this who I want to be with my life? Because as I was saying before, you don't know how they are on their lowest days. You don't know how they are on their up on their highest days. You don't know like how they handle things that go sideways, like in an emergency. How do they handle having to be the person who follows or be the person that leads? Can they are they able to save you and them, or do they run off and be like, yo, you got it? Like there's so much to go and play about knowing a person, that like if you're in that situation and you're thrown off by how they operate, you're like, I don't even know you anymore. Nah, you just never knew that part of them because you decided to jump in not based on looks or emotions alone. And it really matters to learn a person. It take 5 years. Don't let anyone like pressure you into proposing or to getting more serious or having kids anytime before that. Wait the damn 5 years, because the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you got to know your partner enough to where it's like after you guys have sealed the deal, it's all fun there. And I mean, there's more, like it's fun and growth from that point. It's like, oh hey, I know you're having problems with this, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this for you or that for you. Oh thanks man. It's like it's like what they call it, it's in succession. It's just continuation of what you know. Like everything is just, it feels right, instead of having to be in a relationship for like 3 months, 6 months, a year, and be like, oh, we're a thing now. When do we get married? Let's do next year, and let's have a kid right after that. Oh, well, looks like we're having a kid first. Can't get married. So then, like, when you find out, I saw this as a meme, so I'm gonna say it. I don't want anyone to think that I'm just out here biting. It was a pic, like in meme form, but I think it had Nipsey Hussle on it, but it said that when you learn how someone reacts to not getting their way, you tend to truly know a person.
Mm-hmm.
That spoke volume to me, because man, when someone acts out for not getting the smallest of things to the biggest thing, you're like, nah, I'm not dealing with that for the rest of my life. Nope. Uh-uh. Or you'd be like, I can handle it. And you do that.
Yeah.
Me, I probably won't. Because I don't, if you know that the way you behave when you don't get your way is wrong, but you're like, oh, it's me, it's my personality, it's just how I am. Nah, fix that.
No, it's
Grow
not.
up. That's, you choose that, and that's not something that like is genetic. You can be better, but you're just like, that's your personality. Because no, that's you throwing a fit because you want to get your way any way, shape, or form, and that don't sit with me. Everyone knows that don't sit with me. But it's not that, it's not that me that we're talking here. It's in a general sense, like don't settle for that. Choose not to settle. Make the strong decision
Mm,
for success and not
mm,
settle.
facts.
But I mean, it just man. Um oh, and then kind of going all the way back that also plays into being manipulated or being emotionally abused or mentally abused, is that when someone makes you believe that you have to bend to them and how they are, instead of coming to
Mm,
mutual ground or them growing when they should be. And that's a red flag, and you should probably consider other options. But I mean, And another thing that I find really distasteful about relationships these days is people quit way too fast. They're like, because they find themselves to be too. They're so hear me out, right? So
Yeah.
people put themselves on such a pedestal that they feel like one thing can happen and it's the only time that it happens. It's not the fact that they're learning how not to let it happen again. It's just that they ever cut off the opportunity from them to learn or that particular situation happens. So let's say you got cheated on. That's not ever going to happen to me. Let's say you found out because someone's phone was ringing and it was Pizza Hut. Why is Pizza Hut calling at midnight? Oh, you're cheating. Oh, so I'm never. So you say I'm never gonna let that happen again. What are you doing in the next relationship to never let that happen again? You take the components of someone who is a cheater and you apply it to the next person. So if your next partner is all about their phone, they have it laying face down, they don't use it around you, and you're like, something's fishy because it looks like the exact same way that I was cheated on. So you either dip like, nah, I feel like you're cheating on me, I'm out, or you try to find your answers and you end up looking like the asshole, or you find what you're looking for, or you're like, hey, I was wrong. Let's give it another shot and I'll be more trusting. But this is, it stems from pain, and I just want to be able to get past that. Like, and this is where it comes in that you said, in order to really succeed in the new relationship, you got to unbag the last one. So I just find it very, very difficult to have like just to I don't know I can't accept the fact that people are so quick to bail out of a relationship because it didn't go their way or they suspect
Mm,
something, and it's just like, well, really take the time to understand who you're with and like actually
that's
learn.
not gonna happen after a year.
Right. And
It's
that's
not
why
gonna
you
happen
don't
after two
hop in
years.
after a year, you know. But people are so dependent on company. They're so dependent on
Yeah.
being around people. But when it comes to being in a relationship, they're like, oh, I'm always going to be alone. I'll never find love. People out here are not acting right. It's like, you can't put that on every person you meet because you can't sit there and expect everyone to be your soulmate. You can learn from each relationship.
That's true. Uh, damn, I was about to say something. I forgot. Hmm. Oh,
Mm.
also when people, if the people come up and they ask you, or be like, I don't know, I'll just never do it.
Yeah.
Like that person, man, they have like a 5 year head start on them. Like, and they're like, of course they know them. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
They've been there. Yeah, like, dog, you still got quite a few, marathons to go before you get to barely anything needs to be spoken, and
Mm.
you know what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
some people that that happens quickly, but it's not polished. It's very like rough.
Yeah.
Like it may be like at the surface, it's not deep. Like some people, like you can get like such a deep, like to a deep level with them to where they could shift, breathe a certain way, and you're already on it. Like, and it's not even like they do it on purpose. It's just subconscious. Like it's
Yeah.
like they can't. That's what their body does. What they do when they're at certain ways. Like, oh, I got it. I'm already on it. And they'll be like, "How'd you know?" It's like, "You. What do you mean? Like you don't realize you do it. I saw it. Like I got it."
I mean, and another thing too is that people don't want to put
Oh
in the
shit,
effort.
dude! I gotta. I got. I gotta stop talking. I'll be here all
Uh-oh.
night.
I mean, like people don't want to put in the effort. Like they want things to be
Let me see
easy.
this here.
They want to like sit back and just be like, "Oh, the relationship's how I want it," because I don't want to, like a lot of people go in a relationship thinking that the partner will make everything work, and they're just there. Like, nah, you got to
Oh
put in the effort.
man,
You got to grow too. Like, you got to do this too.
I
It's
need to
it's
be
us. It's
one
not just me and you. It's us.
living, breathing organism.
Oh, we got to follow.
Hey, what's good with the follow?
Uh, Dang it. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Uh, All right, I am officially doing the social spotlight, starting with this lovely lady, good friend of mine. Her name is Kieu, and she has her own practice, She by Nails, and she works in Poise Aesthetics. She does acrylic nails, gel polish manicures, nail art. Kieu takes her craft and amazing technique very seriously and will dedicate the proper amount of time for your satisfaction, guaranteed. No rush. She'll take as much time as needed, so that means it may take a little longer than your normal spa treatment, but she makes sure that she gets it done right in the first time. She also provides a safe and judgment-free space for everybody, regardless of race, gender, or disability, etc. This is, however, a spa, so unfortunately there will be no children or pets allowed. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of Kieu's work here. Amazing work. Look at that. Just phenomenal. Glad everyone can hear me now.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. Let's see. So
Everybody-
all these nails that she does here, and
It's me.
again, you can find her. All right, so you can find her again at Poise Aesthetics. You can find her Kieu. The address is 2216 East Douglas Avenue, Wichita, Kansas 67214. You can find her on Facebook, Nails by Kieu, that's her professional page, or her Instagram, Nails by Kieu LLC. You can book with her at www.vagaro.com/poiseaesthetics/book-now. All right, we've got another one to present here. So if you're not busy and you're in the ICT area tomorrow, starting from 3 to 10, you can visit downtown's art crawl called First Friday ICT. They'll be hosting the event. They have a set number of buildings where they show showcasing art. Sorry. One in which one of our viewers, Ryan Keys, you'll find him at the bottom right here. White Crow Cider Company is hosting his art from 3 to 10. Let me go ahead and show you what he's working with, because he is a fantastic artist. He is a phenomenal photographer. He is in digital art, and he is also a painter. You can find his art at the White Crow Cider Company. He also does prints for $40 a piece. Go ahead and take a look here. And this is Ryan Keys. This is the handsome gentleman that'll be showcasing his art tomorrow and all of August. You can find it if you're not able to show up tomorrow for the crawl. You can visit White Cider Company or White Crow Cider Company all the way through the 31st to view his art. Let's see here. All right, so here we've got a lovely piece of photography that he's done. Very phenomenal work. Here's this lovely view that he's given us. Another tasty pic right here. And if you're interested in the crawl or any of the pieces that he has, you can find him on social media. You can find his personal page, Ryan Keys, or find him at his professional page, Ryan Keys Photography. All right. Thank you again. Now that my microphone is working on this segment, I appreciate you guys' patience. So still waiting on a response from Keys. That's all right.
He said he's hopping on.
Oh, he is? Okay. Go ahead and take a peek. He's ready. All right. Since we're doing audio, let me see if I can try to throw him in here. Keys, how we doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna let Keys have the floor.
All right, cool. Hey, Keys, how's it going,
All
brother?
right. Like this. Just one last thing before I go. All of you are doing better than you think you are, as always. And I'll check you on a bit.
Hold up.
Appreciate
I'm
it,
getting
Sean.
feedback
Appreciate
from
it.
both of y'all.
Yep.
Cool. What is up?
Not much, big dog. Chilling.
How's your
Turning it off.
evening going so far?
Working. That's fine. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. You can hear me, right?
Oh, hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? I don't think I can hear you.
Oh. A few more quotes that I stumbled upon. I'm slotting keys in right now, but I'll go ahead and read you guys one. One by Gordon Graham. Decision is a sharp knife that cuts clean and straight. Indecision, a dull one that hacks and tears and leaves ragged edges behind it. That's kind of deep. Let's see. Let me find one that I relate to or I agree with. Um, one that I saw that was kind of easy to agree with. Mostly easy to agree with is the decision making is easy when your values are clear. That one's by Roy Disney. I see that in like a basic context, but if there's anything kind of rough, I feel like the
What's wrong?
whatever you can make happen. Keys, can you hear me? While we're waiting on that, James E. Faust had once said, "Some of our important choices have a timeline. If we delay a decision, the opportunity is gone forever. Sometimes our doubts keep us from making a choice that involves change. Thus, an opportunity may be missed." That's a nice one. That's a nice one for like a general means of making a decision. I like that one. One that I read earlier, Graham Brown, also the co-author of Black Rain. Life is about choices. Some we regret, some we're proud of. Some will haunt us forever. The message, we are what we chose to be. That one was kind of interesting to me because yes and no. That one, I'm yes and no because you could have made a decision that ended up with someone's life, but if it wasn't necessarily you per se, that doesn't make you a killer, make you a murderer. It just means someone's life was left with you around or from your hands in whatever shape or way form. That doesn't make you a murderer. So that's a yes and no for me. One also interesting one was Salma Stockdale said, "We may think our decisions are guided purely by logic and rationality, but our emotions always play a role in our good decision making process." That one was interesting. That one is very all around, I think. That one's definitely a good one. I like that one. Malcolm Gladwell said, "Truly successful decision making relies on a balance between deliberate and instinctive thinking." So, kind of what we were saying earlier, trust your gut or trust the process. So that one's also really good. The heck is this? Oh, I don't know. And then there was one I found I really liked by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. I believe she's an author. She stated, "I believe that we are solely responsible for our choices and we have to accept the consequences of every deed, word, and thought throughout our lifetime." After the conversation that I've had and after speaking it out with myself, yes and no. Again, there's always there's not always, but there can be a tactic at play that kind of puts you to believe that the things are the way that they have been taught, and if it's not the way you think it is, but that's the only thing you've ever learned, then it's not. I guess I wouldn't say fair, but like, yeah, I guess I would say it's unfair.
I have no idea.
Yo, Keys.
Yo,
Oh, Finally. Right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right. I'm pushing you through. About time.
Hold up.
Sean, you said it best. We're human, not Vulcan. That's awesome. Yes.
All right, my bad. We live.
There we go. My man, what up?
Not much, bro. Chilling.
Did I hear a second voice in the background?
Yeah.
Hi,
He doesn't
welcome.
want to speak though.
Oh, okay. Okay. Still welcome. Thanks for watching and tuning in. So yeah, I guess we were kind of choppy earlier. How's your evening going?
Oh, no, chilling, relaxing. Got done with PT early. Trying to get the gains in.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
That's how they make their money.
Look, I'm not like a very, what is it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm not a very out there person. I go out when either I feel like it or like I have to.
Well, my next question is definitely perfect for this topic and your statement. What do you mean I have to? Who's forcing you?
The military, of course. Of course.
Okay, I got you. Let's see. You wear gloves?
Of course, always. No, not as much as I used to. I wear wrist wraps now.
Hey, it's time to
Like,
take them off
we're
and
strong.
start to feel the pain. Yeah. Strengthen those knuckles. Get them calloused to the surface.
Of course.
Well, it's a pleasure to have the both of you, and to get your stance on this topic here. So to kind of refresh, if you may have forgotten, first question, I'll go ahead and hit you with that. Do you find an individual solely responsible for the decisive actions? And then two, I don't know if you remember the story that we were relating to earlier. If an assaultee were to kill their assaulter based on trying to escape their life being in danger, do you find that person to be at fault and therefore suffering the consequences of the government? But we'll start off with the first one here. Individual solely responsible for their decisive actions.
I want to say yes, but if it affects a lot more people, then I guess how they respond to said action determines their consequence or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Is there any example that you could give?
What is it? So in the military, you got corporal punishment. If somebody like fucks up or something,
Yeah.
part of my language,
You're good.
then they'll either have everybody like participate in like the ramifications for said action, or that person, depending on the severity, like that person by themselves has to like take the consequences for themselves.
And Sean said he hated it. I would too. I didn't think about that one. That's a nice one. He's always coming in clutch. Okay. So, group consequence. So, all right. So now I'd like to expand on that. So, what do you feel would be an individual decision or action that should be individual as opposed to, well, I guess I see where you would all come from. Nothing should be a group consequence, because unless it's like, oh, hey, somebody stole a cookie. Who took it? Oh, ain't nobody talking. I guess you all getting it. I see that, because if you stand as a unit, then you can trust your brother in arms left and right. So that one I understand. But then it's just like, yo, the person who actually stole the cookie, mess up again, and it's you next time by yourself.
Oh yeah, fact.
So okay, I get that. I get that. That's heavy. Yeah. Um. So what do you do in a situation like that when it's one individual causing the group to suffer? After the consequence has been set in motion, everyone's done the you know they're finished up with whatever it was that you had to do because of that one individual. What do you do, or how do you feel about that going forward?
I mean, of course, you're gonna be salty in the present like time that you have to partake in the consequences. But I mean, like, I'm trying to think. You're probably still gonna be mad for like a couple days.
Now, say this is a repeater offender or someone who just continues to mess up, doesn't really care about the well-being of the group or the unit per se. What do you do then?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be military related. Like if it like a certain specific situation, like I guess you in general or like in a unit as like that you would believe the unit would act accordingly. What would you do?
Most definitely pull them to the side, be like, and like try to talk to them, like, hey yo, what's going on? Like, is everything cool? Everything good at home and whatnot? Are you like, what is it? Are you having troubles? Any troubles anywhere that's
Mhm.
affecting you here?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you mess up again, like we're gonna have to put hands on you.
I can get with that. I mean, and yeah, that's honestly, that's honorable because you're giving that person the opportunity to come clean about why they're, they have this disregard for your guys' well-being to be disciplined for something only that individual did on their own. Because you
Yeah,
can only treat everyone as a unit for so long until they're showing obvious signs of like, yeah, I don't care. And you have to dispose of that one individual, that one cancer. But the way that you went
yeah,
about it is very admirable. I really like to hear that. Instead of just writing them off, you took the time to want to understand where where the actual problem was coming from. That's cool.
oh yeah,
So let's see here. So that's actions, right? So like if they were to constantly mess up, that's all on them. But as a unit, you'll take it to a certain extent. How about someone's decisive words? Sole responsible?
yeah. For your words, like unless somebody specifically told you to like say that, then like what comes out your mouth, that's all you.
Like as a young Caucasian child, for someone who's African American, be like, hey, go call this person the N word. They're like, okay, they don't know any better. You you clearly got this child hurt, but you probably might have got him killed depending on where you're at in America. But yeah, very. I feel like very heavy but obvious scenario to take it. Like you go tell someone to say something, they don't know what it means, and you lie to them, and then they go say that, and something happens to them. You, the person, making, well, you didn't make that person say it, but you made them believe that it was a good thing to say.
Yeah,
Manipulation. So now, not only have you lied to them, you manipulated them into believing that they're doing something good. You've put them in harm's way. You are the sole responsible individual for that mistake happening. Yeah. Okay. I like your scenarios. I really do. Let's see. They do, man. So, Sean said people do this all the time to anyone learning their language. That's true.
yes,
And to kind of flip that, I also hate when people try to get you to teach them cuss words. So they can go try to say it to people that they know are of that ethnicity or of that
yeah.
nationality. That's, hey, can you teach me a cuss word in Vietnamese? No, you can just say it in English. Dang, good one. That was a good one. Okay, then you only need the F word. That's it. What about success? Soul. And like when I say success, this isn't just like, oh, I kind of did it on my own. Like any means of success, do you find the individual solely responsible?
I would say no because obviously you're gonna have help if you're like constantly failing. And some people do get it by themselves, but not everybody gets it by themselves. They need help. So of course you're gonna have help along the way. So you can't solely attribute that success to yourself when other people have helped you along the way to get where you are.
And many people do, especially
Yeah.
um, celebrities or artists, mainly artists. You know, the whole line, did it on my own.
Got it out the mud.
Yeah. That one line you hear, but like they have a whole bunch of people around them. It's like, oh, I did it on my own. No, you didn't.
Um,
You know, like especially with the art industry, you have a fan base. If you didn't have a fan base, well, you clearly didn't get anywhere. But you have a fan base, so you have them to thank. And then for anyone who's religious who likes to thank God, you know, you clearly didn't do it on your own because you had the help of the one that you pray to. And people forget
yeah.
about that. Everyone is Jermaine. What? Let's see. And then choices, yeah, pretty much goes with actions. Um, okay, let me hit you with a curveball here. So let's say you're going out to eat. You both end up agreeing on somewhere to eat. Someone mentioned it, but you both agree. You get
Mhm.
there, and there's a wait, and you waited too long to go sit down, but you stayed there anyway. The food was nasty, and you had horrible service. Whose fault is it that you ended up there?
I don't know. I just like kind of like chuck it up to a loss and be like, it is what it is. You might not come back here.
That one was a trick question. I think I could feel the tension, the hesitation of you answering that. But that was a good one. Take it as a loss and you try again next time. That's a good one. I was putting you on the spot. All right. And then there comes the next scenario of the assaulter and the assaultee. How do you feel about that?
Like I said earlier, I'm getting put on a t-shirt.
So how do you feel about like, okay, so let's say that there's a case, as there are many, where let's say there's a girl being sexually assaulted, but she knows self-defense. Man's not letting up. He's trying to use sheer strength to overpower and get what he wants. He's not getting it because she's fighting him off pretty well. Goes to pull a knife. Says, do what I say or it's your life. She goes, no, and continues to fight. As he goes to try to strike, he's reaching out, feels that there is an object to hit him with. Earlier I used brick, but you know, whatever, can strike the head and end his life. That's what she did. Escapes, not knowing if this man was alive or not. She was trying to get the hell out of there. Reports the issue, comes to find out the man is dead. They charge her with the death of the assaulter. A small charge, but a charge nonetheless. Do you think that she was right or wrong to get that charge?
That's wrong for her to get the charge, obviously.
Yeah.
And like even people in prison would agree with you. Like she was defending herself.
Yeah.
So I mean, like for her to get that charge, it's unrightful, but it just ends up happening all the time,
It
unfortunately.
does.
Because
It's
our
very
justice system
unfortunate.
is toxic as fuck.
And my argument to that is even though that they have training, even though that they have the badge, cops will do it too, and they get away with paid leave, and most likely the possibility of coming back after 10-day suspension paid leave.
Yeah.
All
Or
because,
getting fired and moving to a different department in another town over.
or just being security. I yeah, no, that was a like a random scenario, but it really started like feel like a good statement for this topic because that's like one, you're making a decision to not want to be assaulted. So you're standing your ground as you have the right to. Then as you're fighting for your life, trying to escape, this person decides to pull a weapon and now threaten your life. So you are actually in danger because not only are you threatened with a weapon, you're still in this person's grasp, and your life could be taken at any moment. Any moment. There's no distance. Man has you. You're reaching to try to get something separates. You feel an object and you just go to swing. It clearly stops them and you're able to escape and run out. And you also report the entire incident, only to get in trouble. And it's not even morally an issue because I think in most religions, I believe if I believe correctly, you're not to take a life without a justifiable cause. If you end up taking a life in self-defense of justice, then it happens. But if you're out to kill, or if someone threatened you and your automatic reaction was, well, you messed with me, I'm gonna take your life. That's a no. But this one right here goes with the morals of any religious standard that they try to uphold, and also any standard that anyone else would have living.
Yeah.
I understand there would be more to that, Sean, but it's just like the general statement. But yeah, I see why you would say that because, and depending on who the juror is or who the judge is, they'll say that. They'll be like, well, there's more to it. And then you're like, well, there's that. um, but let's see here. That was pretty short. Tell me about a time where you were held responsible or received consequence for an action. One that you can speak on. I don't want to pressure you into sharing anything that you don't want to.
Oh, dog, that's my whole life. Consequences for my actions.
Consequences. Okay, so what's one that stands out that you can talk about comfortably?
Stand out. I got a lot. All right. Dang, I'm trying to think of one off the dome. There's too many. All right. I've gotten like paperwork for being late too many times to work.
Were you just a big procrastinator, or was it that you had a lot of stuff to do?
No, I just like bullshit until the last minute.
Are you still that way, or are you a little better about it?
50-50.
Still growing, still not giving a shit. Okay, cool. What's one where you may have been rewarded or responsible for your actions in a good way?
I don't know. I'm always responsible for my actions because, like, if I fuck something up, I'll take like full accountability for it, like right there. Be like, yeah, I fucked that up.
Okay. I feel that. So you it's obvious that you tend to take on more of a leadership role. That's really good. That's nice to know. Do you hold a leadership role in any way, shape, or form with your work?
A little bit, only because of the rank, but I try my best to stay out of like leadership roles because that is not my forte at all.
I feel that. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure, and like when you have friends that you make with work and then you become the head honcho, it makes it hard to be friends because then some people think they can get away. Some people will respect the rank or the status, and then some people just be like, I don't take you seriously, bro, because I know you before it. And it's like, well, how do you expect me to get to the top if you're not gonna respect the top?
Yeah.
And that always makes it hard.
Like it's so like when I was back in Japan, we've had people like make rank who I knew before they made rank, and like they're like it's cool when like nobody like it's just us. But like when other people outside our career field start coming in, address me by my rank and name, so you show the proper respect in front of other people,
Yeah.
and it don't look like a clown show in here.
That's good that, even outside, like, that rank still holds something. That's good because I know, like, the way we see it on what is it, like cop movies or cop TV shows, when you got the CIA, FBI, local PD, they all come in and like they're pulling rank, and there's always someone above someone, and then there's just that one person who doesn't care.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not on. Cool, okay. Let's see. You made this pretty easy. Is there any certain type of way that you feel about someone being held responsible for their actions, choices, words?
A certain way, not really, but I feel like everybody should be held accountable for their actions and whatnot. Because if you're not, then like how are you gonna grow as a person?
Mhm. And then also, I guess, like, in a sense where it could affect, like you said before, if it can affect more than one person, why wouldn't you? And why should you be included if you're just going to continue to disrupt the flow or compromise the unit by your actions with your
Yeah.
disregard? Let's see. I understand that he doesn't want to say anything on here, but did you want to try to relay a message or relay a statement?
I don't think she wants to talk.
I mean, like, like, at all, that is there anything that she'd like for you to say for her? If not, that's
Is there
cool. I
anything
just
you
wanted
want
to
me
try
to?
to be inclusive.
Yeah, no, you're good. Is there anything you want me to say for you? She said nah.
All good. All right, just there to watch. That's cool. That's cool. Um, so I mean, yeah, you made it easy, dog. um, let's see here. All right, so how about this? I asked you this. Did you ever have any issues making any financial decisions up until this point?
I would say yes, but like when it comes to me buying stuff, I usually, depending on what it is and like how expensive it is, like I'll usually ponder on it for like a little bit before I actually go and buy it or not buy it.
That's good. You sleep on it. Because I know some
Yeah,
people who'd be like, I want that. Click. And then they're out money. That's even
especially
worse. Working paycheck to paycheck.
yeah, especially if it's not like necessary.
True.
And you
Yeah.
have like bills and stuff pop up.
Yeah. I think if you have a good routine of understanding your paycheck period, like when you get paid, what bills are due, what time, it really helps. So some people, I mean, it's easy to forget, but some people are, oh man, I got to pay this and that. It's like, well, I mean, it, like, I know, like, now it's harder because you're paperless and a lot of people don't check their email, but
Yeah,
um, I mean, I guess there's always ways to set them up. But yeah, like, it's for me, I used to have issues. Like I said earlier, like I would sit there and be like, all right, at one point in time, I'd be like, all right, I got a bottle of liquor, I got these games, internet's working, phone's on, I got food, whatever extra money I got, Like if there's anything I wanted, I'd be like, what day of the week is it? What week is it before I get paid? And then if I know if I'm coming up on some money, I'm like, oh, okay, I can make this purchase. But if not, I'll be like, oh wait. And if I can, I'll get it. If not, I think there may have been like once or twice, maybe a few times where I kind of made a purchase and I was left to struggle, but I hated it so much I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
What about, we may have spoken about this before, but what about life changes? Was there anything that made you like decide something that was going to drastically change your life?
I don't know, because I'm not sure if I'm like there yet or have encountered something that like really changed my life.
What about getting in the military? Was it an easy choice for you, or did you have to kind of think about it?
I had to kind of think about it, but my dad was like, I could either stay home and get a job and go to school or join the military. And I was like, I don't mind working, but I don't want to go to school because I hate school.
Yeah.
And plus, I don't want to like waste the money going to school knowing I hate it. I was like, let me just go join the military.
Okay. I mean, as most men are, they're met with that decision. Oh, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna school? Are you gonna work? You gonna military? I couldn't do military. I didn't want to give myself to be a it for me. It felt like I was just gonna be a pawn for someone else's gain, and I just didn't feel that way. And I also I was interested in going to school, and I had made the move to do so, but then I realized how much of a scam going to college is for the most part.
Oh yeah.
And the stuff that I wanted to do, I can just learn it and apply it and get somewhere. I didn't need a book. I didn't need some tests, reviews. I didn't need a teacher. None of that. Like I was like, well, everything that I want to do, I can just do it. And yeah, so I said, forget school, not the military. Started working just so I could start saving up some money, but it's so tough, especially like didn't want to be a hoe.
No, that's fair.
What are you talking about, Sean? Yeah, I couldn't do school. I hated it so much. I couldn't wait to be out of high school, and then when the thought of college came up, I was like, nope, couldn't do it. Let's see. I'll hit you with the biggie. Have you ever made a life or death decision? You don't have to go into detail if you have or not, but have you?
I don't think I have yet. I've never been put in a situation where it's life or death.
You seem like a very moral person. When it comes to having, like, let's say a friend or family member is on life support and it's your decision to pull the plug, could you?
I am not sure.
Or how would you feel about
'Cause,
that responsibility being bestowed on you?
I would hate it most definitely.
Yeah.
Because, like, even though I'm in the military, like, if we ever go to war and I have to kill people, I'm not sure if I can pull the trigger or not.
And that's even knowing that you're saving the lives next to you and on the field. Because a battlefield could be someone's city or town, and whoever you guys are battling with clearly doesn't have any care for civilian life. But you being of the American military, you would. So knowing that you'd have to save a life next to you or beyond you, you still feel that way?
I would say yeah, only because, like, the people you're fighting against, they're human too,
Mm-hmm.
and they think they're doing the right thing also.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy. A lot of them do, because, like we've all said, they were manipulated to believe something, and so when they don't see that there's another way, and that there's a mission to be taken, that's when all this stuff happens, and it gets civilians in the way, and it causes a lot of death, a lot of loss, and everyone hurts. Not just the people battling, but everyone hurts. And I side with Sean. That's a really really true answer, because I mean it really shows the humanity of someone that can really sit there and process it in real time. Like, I don't want to take this life, but if I'm forced to do it, I'll do it for the sake of the numbers, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
What did they say? What was it in I think it was the movie Wanted, kill one, save 1,000.
Yeah.
And then also, I think it would be kind of tough to balance if what you're doing is also right as well, because you don't. I understand that you guys are given a task, and I know like a lot of times it's like, what do they say? It's um, what do they like to say in the military when it's like outside your rank or something? Need to know basis.
Oh,
So like whenever you're given information and then like, oh, you try to find out more, like, oh, it's a need to know basis. Well, um, I need to know if this is like the right thing, and they're like, soldier, this is your countrymen that you're fighting for. This is the right thing to do. This is what you signed up for. Something like that,
yeah.
right? Yeah, I'm going based off of movies, TV shows, but also from I often come across people of like former military who kind of speak the same thing, and you know, I mean, I'm not military. A little more colorful. Yeah, I I was trying to be yeah, kind of just outline the detail. But yeah, no, that's a very human answer, and I don't find it wrong at all. I think that's the right thing that people need to hear, is that as long as you can assess the fact that it's the correct thing to do in your heart, whether it's going against your own country or going against the country that you've been set to battle, as long as you know in your heart it's the right thing to do, I think that's all you can do, other than
Oh yeah.
take the consequences for not doing it. Which I find very, I'll say this, I find very messed up that if there's a draft and you decline, they're like, oh, jail. That's a decision on its own. Like, do you go fight and, you know, with the chance of dying 50-50, or do you say no and you get prisoned for how long?
I have no idea actually.
No, Sean, do you know? How do you feel about that? Like, having to dodge the draft just to go to prison.
That's terrible because these rich kids get to dodge the draft.
This rich, this rich people, yeah, that would dodge it real quick. Long time, Sean says, yeah. I think that's one thing. I mean, like, that's the time where wars are commonplace. I think that above above many, but that in particular, that's one law that they can dismiss. Like, they can get rid of that. Not everyone needs to feel like they have to fight your battle, because from my point of view, I think a lot of times that America has gotten in any battle off land, they've kind of thrown themselves into it. There may have been, from what I remember, one or two where like it's an ally and they really needed help. They're like, well, okay, we'll help you because you're an ally. I feel like there was a couple who were like, hey, you know what? Let's just see what we can do. I may be wrong, but I think altogether that law should just be thrown out. Let's see. Yeah, great. That was all great exchange. Um, is there anything? Hold on. Sean says max penalty 5 years in a federal prison and or $250,000 fine. That's a no. Going rogue. Let's see. Is there anything that you could provide, Keys? Some enlightenment or uplifting words about making decisions for anyone in the future who struggles with making decisions, making the right decisions, making a life or deficit, financial, anything that you could help anyone in the future?
Obviously, if you're religious, pray about it, ask for guidance. Even if you're not religious, that might help you.
Meditating.
Yeah. If it's like a really big decision, don't be quick to answer unless you have to, but ponder on it if you can. And just, take your time with things.
Hmm. That goes with the 4 steps of decision making: identifying and assessing, really understanding the options you have at hand and not making a quick decision to implement that decision. Really do your homework. Goes a long way. Awesome, perfect. Was there anything else that you'd like to share, Keys? I thank you for both for tuning in.
Not really. Ain't got much more.
Cool. Let me go ahead and slot you out. Again, thank you so much for sharing. It's going to be a short night because I'll bounce out here in a little bit, but I appreciate you having you on, and you are both more than welcome to visit again on the 17th and also on the 31st of this month.
No problem.
All right.
It'll probably be just me though.
Oh, okay. Well, I think thank you again for joining.
No problem.
All right, bro. I'll keep the stream going, but you take it easy, okay?
You too.
All right, bro.
Later.
All right, all good. Those are my kids laughing in the background. All good entries from our lovely viewer, Keys. Sean, was there anything else that you wanted to add, or? No, not really. Okay. Cool. Thanks for stopping in on your birthday. I know you were having a good one. Thanks for making me important enough. Awesome. Okay. So I'll go ahead and wrap up. I for everyone that was viewing now, there was, I'll edit out the technical difficulties and everything, but thanks for being patient through it all. I really appreciate it. Again, we're continuing to grow, continuing to be better. I'll figure out the situation. I know you guys like to see this gorgeous face of mine as it continues to get prettier every day. You will continue to do so. I'll make sure of that. But we're just trying to expand any way, shape, or form that we can. I want more of this. I want more from this to happen for everyone. I was having some issues with myself as of recently. Just kind of needed to take a moment to kind of reevaluate and understand, one, why I'm doing this, two, just why, I don't know, just kind of reassuring myself why I even exist. I'll go into detail about that next time. But just a follow up, because I still am kind of getting through some things. But I was able to reach out and get the support that I needed. But I just wanted to remind anyone that if you're ever going through anything, if you ever need someone to talk to, a shoulder to cry on, you need to vent, anyone that you see that has interacted, we're all here. I feel like I can extend the olive branch to everyone, or if you need to get a hold of me, feel free to do so. I'm always here to do the best that I can and make sure that you feel that you matter, that everything that you do matter. My son says hi. The camera's not on, but you say hi. Okay. But yeah, just as I was going through something, I hope everyone is able to get through their passing storms. Say hi. All right, go ahead, go get dressed. I appreciate everyone that continues to show the support, who comes in, sticks around. It'll only get better from here. But again, stay safe. Oh wait, what am I doing? Hold up. So yeah, again, we're meeting back 6 p.m. Thursday, August 17th. Again, it'll be high of 90, a low of 68, mostly cloudy on that day. Oh yeah, no, I my camera's still off because glitchy or laggy, yeah. But oh okay, now you good. Yeah, I just want to remind everyone that's viewing or that will see this, as Sean says, that you matter. But what I like to say for myself is that if you ever feel that you're alone, you're not. There's always someone or something to talk to. It doesn't have to be human that you can talk to vent or to let your emotions be heard or acknowledged. Always try to reach out to someone. As Sean says, you're doing better than you think you are. As I say, that you have more to provide than you think you do. You're put on this earth and in this time however you want to see it, but the fact that you still exist means that you still have something left to do. You still have some purpose to find if you're seeking that. You still have success to achieve. It's never too late. Age is nothing but a number. Time is a construct. As long as you continue to push yourself to find satisfaction and peace of life, you matter and you're acknowledged. And I want to make sure I do my best every day, every stream, every post, that I help you feel that and instill that and share it, spread it. Treat it like pollen, spread the love, spread the positivities, just make someone feel better if you can, when you can. But I appreciate everyone showing up, viewing, peeping in. I again, there was someone that I have my stream software set up differently now that I'm like multi-streaming, and I can't see the activity that I once did, so I got to go back. But the lovely person that followed, thank you very much. Let me see if I can try to find it here. Okay, it's not in the chat, but thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. It definitely goes a long way. So yeah, we'll tune back in 2 weeks. We'll just do a follow-up, see how everyone's doing. If your standpoint on the subject is the same, or if you felt that there may have been something that changed, or if you'd like to add. I don't know. I actually just reminded myself earlier that we have an extra week this month, so we'll figure out what to do for that day, and I'll keep everyone posted on the socials. Again, you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on Facebook. I'm still getting that Discord up and working. I just got to integrate it properly, but when we got that, we'll have that running as well. YouTube, yeah. So everyone have a fantastic rest of your evening. Have a good, safe weekend. Stay safe, stay hydrated if you're in the heat. Electrolytes, not just water, electrolytes and sodium. And I really appreciate everyone. And no matter what you do, learn from it. Don't stray away from the lesson. Even if it's a mistake, learn from it. You'll do better the next time. But I'll go ahead and stop stalling. That's my time, everyone. I love and appreciate you all. We'll see you again. Thanks so much, y'all. Take care.